Chapter 1061 The 5 Standards of the True Ancestor. Yi Tian, this final round of assessment is to assess combat power. Generally, puppets or some kind of special spiritual body will be used to assess combat power, but puppets and spirit bodies are not real practitioners and they basically have big flaws. Therefore, our Haifeng Mountain Peak Master assessment uses the Peak Master to conduct the assessment. I will use 10% of the physical strength, 10% of the power of the true ancestor and 10% of the power of the soul to fight against you, and I will not use Taoism or Taoist ancestors. The means of this level of strength. But even so, I can exert a lot of strength. You don't need to beat me, you only need to persist for an hour to pass the test. Peak Master Long Li told the story. Yi Tian nodded, thinking it was fair. After all, what he was assessing was the Peak Master assessment, and the Peak Master Long Li was also a Peak Master. If the Peak Master Long Li suppressed his strength, he would not be able to hold on for an hour, then he would be too weak. Moreover, he is not an ordinary true ancestor, even if Peak Master Long Li goes all out, who wins and who loses is not necessarily. Be careful, Peak Master Long Li reminded. The next moment, countless scales appeared on his skin, just like the scales of an ancient dragon. Immediately, he punched out. Boom! The void was shattered, and the terrifying rules of the fist turned into a huge fist and ripped apart the space. This is my Dragon God Fist. It's a high-grade original supernatural power. It almost reaches the limit of 29 high-grade original supernatural powers. It specializes in breaking defenses, so be careful. The voice transmission of Peak Master Long Li came. The real Blood River. Yi Tian used this origin divine ability. After his perfection, the defensive supernatural power of Blood River Avatar has also been perfected to the pinnacle of the top-grade original supernatural power, and its power is very powerful. In addition, his body has been tempered by the power of darkness and taboos. Although it can't reach the level of the taboo body, his physical body is far stronger than other new true ancestors, and even many top true ancestors are not as good as Yi Tian. Yi Tian did not counterattack, but tried to see if his defense could withstand the Dragon God Fist of the Dragon Li Peak Master. Boom! The collision has begun. With one punch, Yi Tian was knocked out, but he quickly stabilized his body and was not injured. What a domineering punch! Yi Tian was amazed. He knew that he underestimated Peak Master Long Li. Although Peak Master Long Li was only in the late stage of the Great Tao, his attack power was too powerful, stronger than some of the top true ancestors he had imagined. How can it be so powerful? The Peak Master Long Li is only the Peak Master, and he is not a general. If the Peak Master is so powerful, wouldn't those generals' combat power easily kill some first-level Taoist ancestors? Yi Tian wondered, and Peak Master Long Li was also very surprised. He did not expect Yi Tian to block his Dragon God Fist without damage. As expected of a genius valued by the Wind King. Long Lifeng Master secretly said. Next, Yi Tian used various source magical powers to fight against the Dragon Li Peak Master, but without using Taoism, Yi Tian couldn't help the Long Li Peak Master, and the Long Li Peak Master couldn't help Yi Tian. Soon, an hour will pass. Sudden, Yi Tian reminded. Long Li Peak Master, I'm going to cast a Tao technique, be careful. Done. Yi Tian used the sky-splitting technique, and the terrifying power of Taoism could change the look of the Lord Long Lifeng. Immediately, Peak Master Long Li also performed a Taoist technique, the Royal Golden Cover. The huge golden cover protected itself, but the power of the air-splitting technique still tore the golden cover, but after tearing the Imperial Golden Cover, the power of the space-splitting technique also dissipated. You are very good at the ultimate level of Taoism. Long Lifeng said. I used Taoism just now, which is a violation of my own rules. You passed the test, and you still passed the test perfectly. The strength of Peak Master Long Li is also very strong. Yi Tian praised. Are you making fun of me? Peak Master Long Li said with a wry smile. He had also tested many preparatory Peak Masters before, but this was the first time he was forced to perform the passage technique. In the past, there were many preparatory Peak Masters to practice Taoism, but the power of Taoism had something to do with him. Yi Tian's own strength was too strong, and he used the ultimate level of Taoism. Once it gets hit hard, it's too embarrassing. Therefore, he can only use Taoist defense. No, I really think that the Peak Master Long Li is very strong, and the Peak Master Long Li limits his strength. If he does not limit his strength, I am afraid that the combat power is comparable to the true ancestor of the top level. Such strength should be eligible to become AA General, right? Yi Tian asked curiously. General, the Peak Master Long Li laughed and said, Yi Tian, you probably misunderstood our high-function general. my strength is not the first after the peak master, how can I become the high-function general? As for your doubts, I can tell you that this is a misunderstanding caused by the different systems of the two realms. The real ancestors of your realm are relatively weak, and even the top real ancestors in our realm are only in the middle. Highest true ancestor. Yi Tian suddenly realized when he heard it. He had fallen into a misunderstanding of thinking before. The Lord Longli Peak is the true ancestor of the God Heaven realm, and any genius in the God Heaven realm can be called a monster in their Daoshan realm. Let me tell you about the division of the real ancestor's strength in the realm of our gods. Of course, this is only a private division, and it is not recognized. It is enough to know it. I know your realm. You divide the top level of the true ancestors into 3 grades. The first grade can kill the weaker first-level Taoist ancestors, the second level can barely compete with the first-level Taoist ancestors, and the third level is far surpassing other Taoist ancestors, that is, the top true ancestor in the general population. 1. In terms of strength, I can rival the second-grade true ancestors of your realm, and can barely compete with the weaker first-level heavenly ancestors. Of course, this standard is based on your realm's first-level heavenly ancestors. In our realm, this strength can't compete with the weaker first-level heavenly Tao ancestor. There is a difference between the first-level heavenly Tao ancestor and the first-level heavenly Tao ancestor. For example, the first-level heavenly Tao ancestor in your realm is too weak, and many of them were formed with the help of ancestral monuments. Heavenly Tao ancestor, unless there is a great opportunity. Many first-level heavenly Tao ancestors in your realm are called false Tao ancestors in our God Heaven realm, and they are not really first-level heavenly Tao ancestors. The strength of the real ancestors of the God Heaven realm can be divided into 5 grades according to the standard of our God Heaven realm: the ordinary ancestors, the elite ancestors, the top ancestors, the strong ancestors, and the invincible ancestors. The power recognizes that their true ancestors are definitely not worthy of the titles of supreme and invincible, so our true ancestors only use these 5 criteria to evaluate other true ancestors in private. In terms of combat power, I am the top true ancestor, but not what you said. The standard of the top true ancestor. From my point of view, there are very few true ancestors in your realm who can reach the level of the top true ancestor. Later, the Master of Lifeng gave a detailed account of the 340 standards. At this time, Yi Tian understood the division of true ancestors' strength. The strongest ancestor, the invincible ancestor. These 2 levels are relatively rare even in the realm of the gods in heaven. The supreme true ancestor can compete with the false true ancestor, and the top supreme true ancestor can kill the false true ancestor and compete with the true ancestor's first-level heavenly ancestor, which is the Daoshan world. The real ancestor of the first grade of the domain. The invincible true ancestor is terrifying, and he can easily kill the first-level heavenly Tao ancestor and be able to compete with the second-level heavenly Tao ancestor. In the realm of the gods, the true ancestors who can reach the level of the invincible true ancestors have great potential in the future, and there is hope to become the invincible ancestors. Each of the generals of the Black Wind Mountain is the true ancestor of the strongest, and the Blood Evil general is the invincible true ancestor. Yi Tian said that Peak Master Long Li can become a general. This is undoubtedly a joke. After all, without the strength of the true ancestor, how can he be qualified to become a general? In terms of strength, I am now the weakest top true ancestor, not as good as Long Li Peak Master. Yi Tian secretly said. But after all, he has just been promoted to true ancestor, and he can quickly improve some strengths in a short period of time. More importantly, he can also use the dark taboo power, plus the taboo attributes contained in the true ancestor's power. If all erupts, before the dark taboo power is exhausted, I am afraid that he will be able to go all out with the dragon power. The Peak Masters fight without falling behind. After the assessment was over, the leader of Longli Peak gave all the equipment of the Peak leader to Yi Tian, and also brought Yi Tian into a certain space in the small realm of the Wind King to change the Peak leader's order and improve his authority. Yi Tian, I know you don't know much about Haifeng Mountain, let me tell you about Haifeng Mountain. Peak Master Long Li said solemnly. Okay. Yi Tian showed interest and answered happily. Chapter 1062 The Strength of Black Wind Mountain. 3rd. In the small realm of the Wind King, there is a trading city. At this time, there were no people in this trading city, but before the domain was broken, it was very lively here. Yi Tian and Peak Master Long Li came here, sat down in an unmanned attic, and chatted about Haifeng Mountain while drinking. Yi Tian Peak Lord, have you thought of the Peak Lord's name? Peak Master Long Li asked. After thinking about it, let's call it Juji Peak Master. Yi Tian said. Juju is derived from Jujin True Body Art, which is the chaos body refinement technique created by Yi Tian, so it is very appropriate to use Juji Peak Master as the name. Okay, then in Haifeng Mountain, I will call you Juji Peak Master. Long Li Peak Master said with a smile. After chatting for a while, the two began to talk about the topic. Juji Peak Master, how much do you know about Haifeng Mountain? Peak Master Long Li asked. Yi Tian talked about what he knew, and what he knew was nothing more than some general information about Haifeng Mountain. For example, the strength of Haifeng Mountain surpassed that of the middle and third level forces, and was very likely to be comparable to the upper level 3 level forces. Black Wind Mountain has 10 kings, 100 generals, many peak masters, and countless legions, and it is a force in a bandit situation. When Yi Tian finished speaking, Peak Master Long Li said with a smile, Peak Master Juju, what you said is not bad, but it's all one-sided. In fact, even I don't know the true background of Haifeng Mountain. You must know more than the outside world, much more than you. Yi Tian listened with pricked ears, with a serious look on his face. I saw Peak Master Long Li recount. We have 10 kings in Haifeng Mountain, but many outsiders don't know the strength of the 10 kings, because the 10 kings rarely make shots, and even rarely show up, and almost no one knows what the 10 kings look like. For example, I don't know the appearance of the 10 kings. Every time the 10 kings come forward, they wear masks. But the 10 kings are very strong and powerful, beyond imagination. As far as I know, any 10 kings have great powers. Strong Daozu's combat power. As for whether our Black Wind Mountain has an invincible Daozu, then I don't know. 1. 10 kings, Supreme Taoist. Yi Tian was shocked. The Supreme Taoist is the 8th Heavenly Tao Ancestor, and the 5th Heavenly Tao Ancestor is like an ant in front of the Supreme Tao Ancestor. He had never imagined that the 10 kings of Haifeng Mountain were so powerful. Isn't Haifeng Mountain an 8th level power? All of the 3 level powers belong to the top level. Peak Master Long Li added. The 10 kings established 10 small realms, and these 10 small realms are the foundation of our Black Wind Mountain. Unfortunately, the realm was broken in a battle, and 4 of the 10 kings died in the battle. There are only 6 left, and all of them have been severely damaged. In addition to the 10 kings, we have many Taoist ancestors in Haifeng Mountain. Some of them can also reach the 6th or 7th level, and they are currently sleeping. For these Taoist ancestors, we call it Heavenly King. At its peak, we had tens of thousands of Heavenly Kings. At present, there are only 1,000 Heavenly Kings left. 9,000 Heavenly Kings have fallen, and some of them are equivalent to guarding the Black Wind while traveling through the dark forbidden area. The mountain fell. Under the Heavenly King are generals. There are 100 generals in Haifeng Mountain, but the strict number is 108 generals. At present, there are only more than 40 generals left. As for the Peak Masters, there were hundreds of thousands of Peak Masters at their peak. At present, there are only a few thousand Peak Masters left. In addition to these, there are a large number of true ancestors in Haifeng Mountain. The exact number is too many, and I don't know too much. I don't know how many people are left now. Quote. Following the narration of Peak Master Long Li, Yi Tian had a detailed understanding of Haifeng Mountain's strength. In short, Haifeng Mountain is very strong, not weaker than the 8th Heavenly Forces, and even among the 8th Heavenly Forces, it can be called the top. Next, Peak Master Long Li brought Yi Tian to a library in the Wind King's small realm. Originally, the book collection pavilion was not in the small realm of the Wind King, but in a place of inheritance or a stronghold in Haifeng Mountain. When the domain was shattered, the Black Wind Mountain suffered heavy losses, and many important places were moved to the small domain, including those bookstores. These bookstores contain many precious books and some inheritances, and only the Peak Masters are qualified to browse. Peak Master Long Li did not accompany Yi Tian much, and then left. Yi Tian went to the book collection pavilion and slowly browsed through the practice books, as well as the public inheritances that could be observed. Originally, Yi Tian had collected countless inheritance and practice books, and now he has such an important channel to browse countless precious books at any time. Confidence. The true ancestor cultivation technique is to enhance the true ancestor's power. If there is no true ancestor cultivation technique, the speed of the true ancestor's power improvement is too slow. But if you have the true ancestor cultivation technique, it is not difficult to improve the true ancestor's power. However, Yi Tian's situation was different. His true ancestor's power is very powerful and has taboo attributes. Even if he cultivates the top true ancestor exercises, the effect of the forbidden attributes will be halved, and the effect of the forbidden true ancestor's power will not be exerted. Therefore, he wants to create a set of true ancestor exercises that completely suit his own situation. This day, Yi Tian actually found a detailed introduction to the dark taboo power in the book collection pavilion. It turned out that in the realm of the gods, many people also mastered the dark taboo power. What surprised Yi Tian even more was that if he wanted to become the strongest Dao Patriarch and the invincible Dao Patriarch, he had to master the dark taboo power, but he didn't say how to do it. But the above said about the forbidden body. The power of darkness and taboo is completely tempered into a body, and it is a forbidden body. Once tempered to 40%, it is a small part of a forbidden body, and it can use the forbidden field. If the body is tempered by 70%, it is a taboo. The body is complete, and it can transform into the dark forbidden area and show the terrifying power. If the forbidden body is tempered to 100%, it is the perfect forbidden body, and this is the real forbidden body. As for the abilities of the taboo body, it is not mentioned above, and it is estimated that the person who wrote this book does not know. It turns out that the taboo body is Shaocheng, which can cast the taboo field. I wonder if the forbidden body of the master of the forbidden hall has reached the realm of Shaocheng. Yi Tian was quite curious about this. But from the situation recorded above, it is very difficult for a taboo body to become small. It requires countless treasures containing the dark taboo power, and many Taoist ancestors who control the dark taboo power risked their lives to enter the dark forbidden area. Until the day it fell, the forbidden body could not be tempered to the realm of small achievement. Yi Tian stayed in the book collection pavilion for 100 years before leaving the Wind King's small realm and returning to the Terran territory. Next, Yi Tian began to retreat and cultivate again. One was to stabilize his realm and improve his strength, and the other was to try to create the true ancestor cultivation technique and the true ancestor level body refinement technique. As for other things, he doesn't care at the moment. Thanks to the blessings of the three great ancient world records, Yi Tian's comprehension increased to a very terrifying level, and he started to take a heavenly soul pill, which caused Yi Tian to be very relaxed in the process of creating the exercises, and it was a little difficult. Nothing. One after another, the heavenly soul pills were refined by Yi Tian, until Yi Tian could not use the heavenly soul pills to cultivate, because he had refined 9 heavenly soul pills from the past to the present, reaching the limit. Fortunately, Yi Tian finally succeeded in creating the true ancestor cultivation technique and the true ancestor level Juji true body art. Regarding the true ancestor cultivation technique and the Juji true body art, Yi Tian integrated them together and directly named the Juji true secret art. After Juji Zhenju was created, Yi Tian began to practice. This practice, Yi Tian felt that the power of the true ancestor was rapidly increasing, the strength of the body was also increasing rapidly, and the strength was increasing all the time. Yi Tian also said that the reason why he improved so fast is that one is related to Juji, and the other is related to the increase in the records of the 3 ancient worlds, otherwise his speed would not be so abnormal. In a flash, thousands of years have passed. Chapter 1063 Glazed Tile School. The Dark Temple reappears. There is an error in the previous chapter, which has been revised. In the 10,000 years of time accelerated by 10,000 times, Yi Tian is almost cultivating the Juji true art. The power of the true ancestor is at least 10 times stronger than before, but he is still in the early stage of the avenue, and has not yet entered the middle stage of the avenue. But in terms of strength, Yi Tian is much stronger than before, definitely not weaker than Peak Master Long Li. In addition, Yi Tian's body has been tempered by nearly 1% under the constant tempering of the dark taboo power. At this rate, if he cultivated hard for another million years or millions of years, he could definitely temper his body. A forbidden body. 10% of the taboo body is already a taboo body, and the ability to exert the power of the taboo will definitely skyrocket. It can even be said that by relying on the taboo body, he will be able to ignore the attack of the top true ancestor, and even initially resist the attack of the strongest true ancestor. Yi Tian was able to progress so quickly on the forbidden body, naturally thanks to the forbidden black lotus, otherwise if he wanted to temper the forbidden body to 10%, he would not be able to do it at all, because he could not even practice cultivation, unless it is on the edge of the dark forbidden area, slowly absorbing the forbidden power of those dark forbidden areas, but that power is more violent than the power of the forbidden black lotus. It takes a long time to refine a trace. With that kind of cultivation speed, it is impossible to temper the forbidden body to 10% even for trillions of years. Yi Tian left the border and learned about the outside world. Unexpectedly, the outside world was very calm, and there was no situation in which the true ancestor kept fighting as he imagined. 340 But there was one thing that surprised Yi Tian. Many forces in the Daoshan realm have all turned to the upper third level forces in the gods realm and became their subordinate forces. Of course, Yi Tian can also understand. Right now, there are many true ancestors in the Daoshan realm, and they have the upper hand, but when they understand the power and background of the upper three-level forces, they will not be optimistic about the strength of the Daoshan realm. After all, there is currently only one 5th level Taoist ancestor in the Daoshan realm, and there are many 5th level, 6th level, 7th level, and even 8th level supreme Taoists in the God level realm. Maybe the invincible Taoist ancestors of the 9th heaven are still hidden by the forces of the 3rd heaven. Compared with the powers of the upper 3 layers of heaven, transcendental forces like Daoshan are simply ants. Therefore, many forces can see the situation clearly, and naturally they will take refuge early, so as to avoid conflicts between the two sides in the future. They have become cannon fodder. As for the powers of the upper 3 layers, there are only more powerhouses, few lower ones, and there are no follow-up disciples to supplement them. Naturally, they need to open a mountain gate in the Daoshan realm, so they also need a lot of affiliated forces, and they are naturally willing to accept them. This is a big trend. Yi Tian can also see it. Not to mention tens of millions of years and hundreds of millions of years, even if it is 10 trillion years, the Daoshan realm will not be able to compete with a realm in the realm of the gods, or even a 3rd level power in a realm. After all, a strong person can suppress a weaker realm. CJFI. Therefore, when the ancient world becomes the ancient world, or when the Taoist ancestors in the divine realm recover from their injuries, the day they wake up, the situation in the entire Daoshan realm will inevitably undergo tremendous changes. At that time, I am afraid that only a force like the Forbidden Temple has the ability to avoid it. The Zushan lineage has given birth to 301 Taoist ancestors. This is good news. Yi Tian muttered. But this is also the current limit of the Zushan lineage. It's not that there are not enough treasures in the way, but the number of true ancestors at the extreme of the avenue is not enough. Can only dare to attack the Tao ancestor realm when they have enough cultivation base and enough other accumulations. Otherwise, if the foundation is not accumulated enough, and the impact fails, it is enough to regret it. Of course, with the strength of Zushan Daozu's 4th level Tian Dao ancestor, coupled with so many Dao ancestors in the Zushan lineage, it is enough for the Zushan lineage to plunder a lot of benefits in the chaos. In fact, Zushan Yimai did just that. Currently, they are clearing out the enemy, annihilating one force after another, and breaking into one forbidden area after another. With a large number of Taoist ancestors united to form a battle formation, it is enough to sweep most of the forbidden areas. Under such advantages, the Zushan Yimai can naturally develop rapidly. And under the leadership of Yi Tian, the Zhu Tianjun kingdom in the ancient world of Xuanxu also grew rapidly. At present, many true ancestors have been born, and with Yi Tian's blessing, no force dared to offend the Zhu Tianjun kingdom. The only thing Yi Tian is worried about is that there are forces in the realm of the gods to deal with the real kingdom of virtual heaven, but at present, there is no such situation. Obviously, everyone is watching the situation, and it is not yet time to fight. Lizong. This sect is a 5th level heaven force in the realm of the gods, and it is not weak among the middle and 3rd level heaven forces. Now, this sect has also been born, and it is constantly recruiting some geniuses from the ancient world of Xuanxu. In fact, the geniuses in the Daoshan realm are not bad, but if they are not well trained, their combat power is much weaker than the geniuses in the gods realm. But as long as you cultivate it carefully, you can definitely become a real powerhouse. In addition to recruiting geniuses, the Glazed Tile School also recruited the forces in the Daoshan realm, but so far few forces are willing to join the Glazed Tile School. No reason, just because the Glazed Tile School is only a 5th layered power, similar to Daoshan's strength. Instead of relying on the Glazed Tile School, why not rely on those 6th level or 7th level forces? Besides, the Taoist ancestors have not yet been born, and the most powerful person in the Glazed Tile School is only the true ancestor. But on this day, a true ancestor led a small group of true monarchs to the Glazed Tile sect, willing to join the Glazed Tile sect. One of the top true ancestors of the Glazed Tile School, the true ancestor Shuangong, personally met the true ancestor named Huiyan. Meet the true ancestor Profound Handle. Fire Cloud true ancestor pays respects. You said you came from the Dark Temple. Fire Cloud true ancestor asked. Not bad. Fire Cloud true ancestor nodded. The true ancestor of Xuanzhong pondered. According to my information, the current situation of the Dark God Temple is very bad, being chased by the Zushan lineage and dare not show up. And even the Dark God real kingdom of the ancient world of Xuanxu has been destroyed, and Weiluli the current focus of the sect is in the ancient world of Xuanxu. You have no power in the ancient world of Xuanxu. If you take refuge in our Glazed Tile sect, what are the benefits of our Glazed Tile sect? No power will do anything that is not beneficial. The same is true of the glazed tile sect. If the true ancestor Huiyan can't say a reason, the true ancestor Xuanzang will not accept the Dark Temple. Since the true ancestor of Xuanzang knows our Dark Temple, he should also understand that our Dark Temple belongs to a very special force in the Daoshan realm. No one knows our headquarters, and we hardly recruit geniuses in chaos, but ours the strength is more than the average top power. Before the rise of the Zushan lineage is far from our opponent, so where does our genius come from? Fire Cloud True Ancestor said. Zon Gang really said, the question, I really didn't think about it. Indeed, without the source of genius, how can the power grow? That being said, the Dark Temple really has a secret. Our Dark Temple is willing to use this secret and send a lot of genius to the Glazed Tile sect. Just ask the Glazed Tile sect to accept our Dark Temple and destroy the Void Heaven lineage by the way. Huiyan True Ancestor gritted his teeth. He hates the Zushan lineage very much, because the Dark Temple has lost many Taoist ancestors under the pursuit of the Zushan lineage, and there are only less than 10 Taoist ancestors left. And the real kingdom of the Dark God in the ancient world of Xuanshu was directly destroyed, and some of his children and disciples were also in the ancient world of Xuanshu, and all fell because of this. Therefore, he can't wait to destroy the Void Heaven lineage. But he is very clear that the Zushan lineage is now far beyond the Dark Temple. With the strength of the Dark Temple, let alone destroy the Zushan lineage, if the headquarters is exposed, the Dark Temple will be destroyed. Therefore, the Dark Temple must seek blessings. They also thought about finding the power of the third heaven, but the power of the three heavens was too powerful, and if they cooperated with them, I am afraid they would not even have the opportunity to negotiate. Moreover, the other party is not necessarily short of geniuses. After all geniuses will definitely join the upper three heaven forces in the future. Therefore, the only hope to achieve cooperation is to find the three-layered power, and they have studied for a long time and decided to find the Glazed Tile School. The Glazed Tile sect is things without any scruples, and will really destroy the Zushan lineage for the benefit. Besides, the Glazed Tile sect does not have the 6th heavenly Tao ancestor. The overall power is not much worse than the 6th heavenly power. To kill Zushan Daozu, you don't need a 6th layer Tian Daozu, any 5th layer Tian Daozu is enough. So, they found Luli's school. Chapter 1064 The Secret of the Boundary Stone. Second update. What is the secret? If it's not worth much, our Glazed Tile School will not offend a 4th level power. True Ancestor Xuangang said with a smile. In his eyes, the Zushan lineage is a 4th level heaven force, and it is also one of the 3rd level heaven forces. Although this 4th level heaven force is relatively weak, there is only one 4th level heavenly ancestor. But now, the Taoist ancestors of their Glazed Tile sect have not been born. Just relying on their true ancestors, it is undoubtedly impossible to destroy the Zushan lineage, at most the Zushan real country of the Zushan lineage. But really want to do this, with the power of a large number of true ancestors of the virtual heaven, it is enough to give them some damage to the Glazed Tile School. Therefore, if there is no huge benefit, the Glazed Tile School will naturally not offend the Zushan lineage. A world beast, is this secret enough? Fire Cloud True Ancestor said. What, world beast, are you kidding me? Laugh. True Ancestor Xuangang couldn't help but said in shock. World beasts are not ordinary creatures, but are Taoist ancestors at the first shot, and can eventually grow into the most powerful Taoist ancestors. Moreover, there is a strange world inside the beast, and the strange world has a special energy. All creatures born in the strange world are better, and it is easy to give birth to real geniuses. This shows how valuable a world beast is. It can be said that once a world beast is born, the forces of the upper 3 layers of heaven will take action to snatch it, and even fight at all costs. Do you have realm beasts in your Dark Temple? I don't believe it. If you really have realm beasts, even if your realm is relatively weak, it is enough to become a 4th and 5th level power. How could it be a 3rd level power? Cold voice. True Ancestor Profound Handle, I'm talking about a dead world beast. Fire Cloud True Ancestor quickly explained. A dead world beast? Who would kill a world beast? Is it crazy? The true ancestor of Xuanzang couldn't believe it. In the realm of gods and heaven, world beasts are treasures, rare creatures in the world. It is too late to protect them. How can they be killed? Moreover, the difference between the living beast and the dead beast is too great. If a world beast dies, its inner world will slowly collapse. Unless the world is bred at a huge price, the strange world can be kept, and its effect is far less than the strange world inside the world beast. Killing a world beast is equivalent to erasing 99% of its value. Therefore, no force or individual will kill the beast. It's because we didn't know the world beast at the beginning of the Dark Temple. The world beast was beheaded by our Hall Master shortly after its birth. Later, we learned about the origin of the world beast, but it was too late to regret it, but we still kept it. The strange world inside the beast is our current dark god realm. The body of the beast has been kept in a forbidden place by us, and no one has found it so far. Fire Cloud True Ancestor explained. There is evidence. If there is no evidence, I still won't believe it. Xuanzang's True Ancestor said. Yes. Fire Cloud True Ancestor took out a huge scale. Seeing this scale, the True Ancestor Profound Handle immediately believed the words of the True Ancestor of Fire Cloud, because this is the scale of a world beast, and only the body of a world beast has such scales, and it cannot be faked at all. True Ancestor Huiyan, your Dark Temple really wants to rely on our Glazed Tile sect, so let your Temple Master come to incarnate in person and talk to me. After all, you can't represent the Dark God Temple. Xuanzang True Ancestor said. This, Fire Cloud True Ancestor is a little embarrassed. After all, their Hall Master is the ancestor of the Triple Heaven, and the true ancestor of Xuanzang is just a true ancestor, so what is the matter to let the ancestor of the Triple Heaven come to negotiate with the true ancestor? True Ancestor Xuanzang, I need to ask for instructions. Fire Cloud True Ancestor wrote. Yes. True Ancestor Xuanzang nodded. Immediately, the True Ancestor of Fire Cloud contacted the Master of the Dark Temple. Soon after, a message came from the Master of the Dark Temple that he was willing to come to the Glazed Tile School in person. 10 days later, the Master of the Dark Temple came to incarnate and talked with the True Ancestor of Xuanzang. This negotiation took half a month, and finally the two sides reached a condition. That is, the Dark Shrine is under the jurisdiction of the Glazed Tile sect on the bright side, but the Glazed Tile sect must not interfere with the internal affairs of the Dark Shrine, and needs to provide some inheritances of the Dark Shrine, as well as help the Dark Shrine deal with the Zushan lineage. What the Dark Temple needs to provide is surrender, as well as transporting 90% of the talents to the Glazed Tile School, and letting some of the true ancestors of the Glazed Tile School be stationed in the Dark God realm. In addition, a kind of boundary stone will be born in the inner world of the beast, and all these boundary stones will be given to the Glazed Tile School. So far, the two parties have drawn up a contract of rules. After the Dark God Temple took refuge, the Dark God Temple Master left, and the true ancestor of Huiyan stayed in the Glazed Tile School. Glazed Tile School, a hall inside. The true ancestor Xuanzang reported the information to the true ancestor Xuanling, one of the most powerful true ancestors of the Glazed Tile School. Senior brother Xuanling, that's the way it is, that dead world beast is almost in our hands. True ancestor Xuanzang said excitedly. They really promised to give us all the boundary stones. Xuanling Junzu said in shock. That is a boundary stone. It is not an ordinary thing, and the people of the Dark Temple actually gave them all the Glazed Tile sect. People in the Dark Temple should not be aware of the value of the boundary stone. In fact, even in the realm of the gods, those lower 3-level forces and many middle and 3rd-level forces do not know what a boundary stone is. If it is not for our Glazed Tile sect, there is a document about the boundary beast. Information, we can't know the value of the boundary stone. Xuanzang Junzu guessed. That's right, it's good that the people in the Dark Temple know about the existence of the world beast, but where do they know about the world stone? The world stone can only be born in the body of the dead world beast, and it is the world of the world beast's origin that escapes in the body and slowly condenses into the world of strange things. It is a treasure, but the value of the world beast is so great that no one wants to kill the world beast, but the world beast is different from the Taoist ancestor. It has a limited lifespan, because it is not strictly speaking, the real Taoist ancestor, but the power level has reached the Taoist level. So, its lifespan is similar to that of the true ancestor. In our God Heaven realm, there are only a few old and dead world beasts in history, so very few boundary stones are born. Otherwise, the information on the boundary stones would have been exposed long ago. Zonling True Ancestor muttered. For flowers, in the eyes of people who don't know how to use them, they are just ordinary stones. At most, they are regarded as top-notch power stones. In the eyes of those who understand the value of boundary stones, they are supreme treasures. The Glazed Tile School just knew the value of the boundary stones. Long ago, before the realm was broken, the Glazed Tile School purchased hundreds of boundary stones at a huge price through special channels. They used the body stone to add techniques, and mention some of the disciples' talents. According to their understanding, a boundary stone can directly raise a disciple's talent to super god level. Point 0. What does this represent? In the realm, there are very few people with super god level talent, and there are very few treasures that can raise their talent to super god level. In fact, most of the talents of many geniuses are god level, and only a few are super god level. As for geniuses with some special talents, in order to elevate that special talent to the super god level, they often put a lot of effort into it, but they are still unable to do it. For example, possessing comprehension talent, god-level comprehension talent is not uncommon, but super god-level comprehension talent is too rare, and there are even no treasures that can raise comprehension talent to super divine level. The boundary stone is different. It can improve any talent, but it can only be promoted to the super god level, and cannot be promoted to the Tao level natural talent. But even so, the boundary stone is also very precious. For a faction, as long as it has enough boundary stones, it is enough to cultivate a large number of peerless talents. In the past, they paid a huge price for hundreds of boundary stones, but now they have all the boundary stones in a beast. How many boundary stones are that? It's hard to imagine. Our glazed tile school will rise in the future. True Ancestor Xuanling and True Ancestor Xuangong looked at each other and smiled. Immediately, they informed the Taoist ancestors who had awakened a ray of consciousness, and the Taoist ancestors sent an order to forbid the leakage of the news of the world stone, and also told the Dark Temple not to leak the world beast. In addition, they are not allowed to tell the Dark Temple about the secrets of the boundary stone. And the glazed tile school also agreed to take action against the Zushan lineage, otherwise it would be troublesome if the Zushan lineage found the headquarters of the Dark Temple after a long time. Now, Yi Tian didn't know that the glazed tile sect, one of the 5 powers, was going to take action against the Zushan lineage. He was at the headquarters of the Zushan Temple, discussing with the other true ancestors of the Zushan Temple how to develop the Zushan real country. Chapter 1065 The glazed tile sect has taken action. Third. At the meeting, Yi Tian held a meeting with the many true ancestors of the Zushan Temple, and began to discuss from various aspects, one of which was how to cultivate genius. The Zushan lineage is now the 5th transcendental force, plus it has acquired a lot of inheritance, and it is also handy in cultivating geniuses, plus it controls several real countries. There is no shortage of geniuses. But there are still many geniuses who have been secretly recruited by other forces, and the Hall of Void Heaven is also troubled by this. Unless the real country is completely blocked, there is no way to stop this situation. Fortunately, those forces are secretly recruiting, they can't recruit too much, and the impact is not very big. As long as there are more and more powerhouses born in the Zushan lineage, there will definitely be more geniuses who choose the Zushan lineage. However, the leader of this meeting was not Yi Tian. Yi Tian's strength is indeed good, but after all, he has just been promoted to the true ancestor, and the Zushan lineage has descended from the chaos to many true ancestors, among which there are many ancient true ancestors. These ancient true ancestors are very powerful, and 5 of them are top true ancestors. The 3 and 4 zeros in the back are based on the 5 true ancestors of the realm of God's realm, and the strength of these 5 top true ancestors is barely enough. How powerful is the combat power to fight against the false Taoist ancestors? They all failed to attack the Taoist ancestors, and could no longer use the combined Taoist treasures to attack the Taoist ancestors' realm, so they entered the ancient world of Xuanshu to find a way to break through. One of the most powerful true ancestors is called Sheui True Ancestor, who is good at bow and arrow, and used one-handed bow and arrow technique to frighten countless powerhouses in chaos. The true ancestor who presides over the meeting is the true ancestor of Sheui, but Yi Tian's strength is also very strong, and he can be regarded as one of the high-level officials present. The true ancestor of Sheui, there is a message from the virtual world that someone in the Dark Temple has infiltrated the ancient world of Xuanshu. A true ancestor who was in charge of intelligence said, Dark Temple sent people into the ancient world of Xuanshu. They are so bold, how dare they come in at this time? True ancestor Sheui said with a frown. Could there be some conspiracy? There is speculation. Everyone should pay attention and investigate carefully. Although the current Dark Temple is far inferior to our Zushan lineage, they are not weak at the true ancestor level. We must be careful. Sheui Junzu reminded. Yes, many true ancestors responded one by one. After the meeting, Yi Tian also left. However, not long after, a message came. The 3 true ancestors of the Zushan Temple were assassinated. These 3 true ancestors are all elite true ancestors who have reached the late stage of the Tao realm, and they are not weak among the elite true ancestors. They are definitely the true ancestors of the Zushan Temple. Backbone. But now, the 3 true ancestors have been assassinated, and it is too late to even rescue them. This is enough to prove that the person who shot is the top true ancestor, but what the top true ancestor is, basically rarely shoots, unless it is a war between forces. Who broke the rules? After the true ancestor Shui found out, he was very angry. This is someone declaring war on the virtual world. In the following days, the true ancestors of the Zushan temple fell from time to time, and the places where they fell were basically outside the real country. After all, the true ancestor of the Zushan temple cannot stay in the real country all the time, and occasionally goes to other places to look for opportunities. After this incident, many true ancestors returned to the true kingdom and no longer ventured out. Lizong, true ancestor Xuanzang and true ancestor Huiyan are chatting about the killing of true ancestor of Zushan temple. Huiyan true ancestor, I have sent 3 top true ancestors to assassinate the true ancestors of the Zushan lineage. At least dozens of true ancestors have been killed, including several elite true ancestors close to the top true ancestor level. Moreover, according to our investigation, some of the top true ancestors of the Zushan lineage have impacted the realm of Taoist ancestors, resulting in a relatively rare batch of top true ancestors. At present, it seems that there are only 3 top true ancestors sitting in the kingdom of virtual innocence, so the kingdom of virtual innocence is too weak for us, and we can continue to assassinate them. 2. Xuanzang's true ancestor said, "Many thanks to the true ancestor Xuangong." The true ancestor Huiyan smiled happily. However, the number of true ancestors in the Zushan lineage is still very large, and it is not even a fraction to kill dozens of them. Is the illusory kingdom going to war? No, the true ancestor Xuanzang immediately refused, saying, "We can't start a full-scale war, otherwise our glazed tile sect will suffer a lot. And who knows if other forces will attack our glazed tile sect at this time. We can't take this risk, or take the road of assassination. Keep assassinating them until they collapse. Then do it first." The true ancestor of Huiyan was a little lost, and he couldn't wait any longer. He hoped that the glazed tile sect would start a war with the true kingdom of void heaven as soon as possible, but this was obviously impossible. Suddenly, true ancestor Huiyan thought of something, and quickly said, "True ancestor Xuanzang, the true ancestor of myriad laws of the true kingdom of Zushan, is the direct disciple of Daozu of Zushan, and he has also obtained 3 records of the ancient world of Xuanshu, known as the strongest newcomer. True ancestor, if he grows up, it will definitely be a big threat to our glazed tile sect. We need to eradicate him as soon as possible." True ancestor Huiyan hated Yi Tian very much, because it was Yi Tian who led a large number of half-step true ancestors to break through the true kingdom of Dark God, so he hoped that Yi Tian would die. Xuanzang Junzu listened to Huiyan Junzu's words, pondered for a while, then nodded and said, "Yi Tian, the true ancestor of all methods, is indeed a huge threat. If such evildoers grow up, they will indeed attack us. The glazed tile sect is a threat, but he is still in the true realm kingdom. If you want to assassinate him, the price is not small. Is there any way you can lead him out of the true realm kingdom? At that time, I will send 3 top true ancestors to assassinate him at the same time and kill one. The newly promoted true ancestor who has just been promoted will definitely be caught." Driving out the true ancestor of all methods, Yi Tian. The true ancestor of Fire Cloud fell into contemplation. After a long time, true ancestor Huiyan came up with a solution, saying, "True ancestor Xuanzang, true ancestor of 10,000 laws is not only the true ancestor of Zushan temple, but also the leader of the human race. He seems to attach great importance to the human race. And the human race has a large population and a lot of geniuses, and many of them are roaming the ancient world. We can arrest a large number of human race geniuses, which should be able to attract the true ancestor of all methods to come out. Of course, if he does not come out, we have nothing to lose. That's the way to go." True ancestor Profound Handle nodded in satisfaction and adopted the suggestion of true ancestor Fire Cloud. A month later, the human race high-level faces are not good looking, because during this time, many human race powerhouses and geniuses could not be contacted. Based on various evidences, those human race powerhouses and geniuses did not fall, but were taken away. This offends the human race. Today's human race is not weak. Among the indigenous races in the ancient Xuanshu world, the human race is definitely the largest race. In addition to the true ancestors like Yi Tian, there are many true ancestors and many half-step true ancestors. And now, many heavenly monarchs, true monarchs and several half-step true ancestors of the human race have disappeared, and the person who did it must be a powerhouse at the true ancestor level. As a result, several true ancestors of the human race are discussing. This matter is about the human race, but it has not yet been staged to the extent that it threatens the real country of virtual innocence, so it is not easy for them to ask other true ancestors of the real country of virtual innocence to help. As time passed, the Terran never found out who was arresting the Terran. Go and invite Lord Wanfa, true ancestor, to come. A true ancestor suggested. Everyone nodded and informed Yi Tian of this matter. Yi Tian rarely manages the human race, but when such a big thing happens, he can't ignore it. Human Temple. Yi Tian sat on the high seat, and several other true ancestors and several half-step true ancestors sat around, and the meeting began. Any clues? Yi Tian asked. There is no clue. I only know that the other party should be the true ancestor, and 5.8 has treasures with hidden breadth and whereabouts. The true ancestor of the mountain range, a rising rookie of the human race, stood up and said. No clues, no clues, no clues. A high-level human race spoke up. Suddenly, another half-step true ancestor said, Myriad FA true ancestor, one of my descendants has also disappeared, but my descendant has a special sensory treasure. I can initially sense the direction, but I want to be specific. Know the location, you need to get close to be able to confirm. Really? Yi Tian was slightly excited. Really? The half-step true ancestor said. Yi Tian then learned about the identity of this half-step true ancestor, a genius carefully cultivated by the human race, named Yao Yu, and a disciple of the great sect, so the possibility of betraying the human race is very small. Moreover, Yi Tian also used the copy talent to check the other party's talent situation to confirm that the other party was not someone else's disguise. So, Yi Tian took Yao Yu to leave the real country of virtual innocence, and went to find the trace of the enemy through the weak induction of the induction treasure. Chapter 1066 Kill the 3 top true ancestors. Fourth more. Lord Wanfa true ancestor, it's getting close. Yao Yu said very anxiously. His son was taken away, and he naturally wanted to rescue the other party as soon as possible, so it seemed very urgent. However, Yi Tian's speed has slowed down. Because if his speed is too fast, it is easy to attract the attention of the other party. If his whereabouts are exposed, it will not be good. It's not right, it's dangerous. Yi Tian suddenly spoke up. At this moment, 3 terrifying auras emerged, locking him from 3 directions. Immediately, Yi Tian put away Yao Yu. I saw 3 attacks coming, and it was a 3-door attack. However, the other party's Taoist attainments are not high, and they are just getting started. Others don't have the Tao level natural talent. Even if they can practice the Tao technique, it is difficult to cultivate it to the realm of minor achievement. Unlike Yi Tian, who has the Tao level natural talent, he can easily cultivate a Tao technique to perfection, extreme realm. But the strength of these 3 true ancestors is not weak in itself, even the entry-level Taoism is very powerful. 3 top primordial ancestors. Yi Tian was extremely surprised. He never expected that 3 top true ancestors would attack him, and there are only 3 top true ancestors in Zushan Temple now. This battle is so luxurious. It is definitely not a force in the Daoshan realm. No force can easily send 3 top true ancestors, and 29, no Daoshan realm force is willing to take revenge with the Zushan lineage. Yi Tian thought to himself. He guessed that these 3 true ancestors should be the forces of the realm, that is, the forces from the realm of the gods. But he has no hatred with those forces, and the other party sent 3 top true ancestors to assassinate him, the newly promoted true ancestor. Suddenly, he remembered that the true ancestor of the Zushan Temple had been assassinated recently. Obviously, these 3 true ancestors did it. Copying talent enveloped the audience. Yi Tian knew the origins of these 3 true ancestors. Lu Lizong. In the introduction of the copy talent display, it was shown that the 3 true ancestors came from the Glazed Tile School, a 5-layered heaven power. You are looking for death. Yi Tian was extremely angry. The true ancestor of the Glazed Tile sect dared to assassinate the true ancestor of their Zushan Temple. This time the disappearance of the geniuses of the human race and the powerhouses must have been done by the Glazed Tile sect, just to draw him out. Before, Yi Tian still wondered who would capture human geniuses and strong people, but not kill them. Wouldn't this be superfluous? Now, he understands. It is false to arrest the genius of the human race and the strong, and it is true to lead him out of the kingdom of imaginary innocence. Yi Tian is very clear that if he is defeated, those geniuses and strong people of the human race will definitely be killed. Therefore, as long as you kill the 3 top true ancestors in front of you, you can rescue the geniuses and powerhouses of the human race. If the 3 true ancestors in front of him were top true ancestors like Peak Master Longli, Yi Tian could only barely compete with them, and would not be able to defeat them. But from the perspective of breadth, these 3 top true ancestors are only the weaker ones among the top true ancestors. Tao Technique, Purple Gold True Body. A purple gold golden body appeared on Yi Tian's body, which was a defensive Tao technique. I saw that the Taoist attacks of the three top true ancestors smashed Yi Tian's defensive Taoism, but they did not break Yi Tian's defense. Immediately, Yi Tian performed a Taoist technique, the imperial seal of the Emperor Zongtian. Boom! A square seal full of endless mystery suppressed the void in all directions, locking almost all the escape directions of the three top true ancestors. Then, Yi Tian used Lan Yu Ju Bing, a wide-ranging ice Dao technique. In an instant, this territory was directly frozen, and although the three top true ancestors broke Lan Yu Ju Bing, they were injured. Escape is unable to escape, can only fight with Yi Tian. Yi Tian bombarded the three top true ancestors with a door technique, but these three top true ancestors could not hurt Yi Tian. At the same time, Yi Tian also performed a time Dao technique, Xin. This door technique directly affects the time in this area. The two sides fought for a long time, but the outside world seemed like a flash. 1 year, plus hash. Yi Tian has been fighting with the three top true ancestors, but although the three top true ancestors of the glazed tile school are not as good as Yi Tian, their life-saving ability is not bad. At the level of the top true ancestor, unless the strength gap is too large, it is not easy to kill the opponent. This battle has been fought for decades, and the three top true ancestors can't support it anymore. Why is he so strong? The three top true ancestors of the glazed tile sect couldn't believe it. In their opinion, this time it was just an attack on a newly promoted true ancestor. Even if Yi Tian had the records of the three great mysterious ancient realms, he was not an ordinary true ancestor. But no matter how powerful and evil, can the new Jin ancestor be the opponent of their three top true ancestors? Now, they finally know. They are really not Yi Tian's right. They have never seen such a terrifying new ancestor. One person can master multiple Taoism techniques, and almost all of them are Taoist techniques at the extreme level. Moreover, a newly promoted true ancestor has actually mastered the power of the dark taboo. This dark taboo power is not small for their injuries, and it can also weaken their attack damage. How could such monsters exist? But in fact, such monsters really exist, and they were met by them. Collapse. The body of a top true ancestor of the glazed tile school was completely shattered and could no longer be healed. The first top true ancestor has fallen. Without one of the top true ancestors, the other two top true ancestors went crazy and started suicide attacks, but Yi Tian's Taoist skills and life-saving abilities far exceeded their imagination. In the end, the two top true ancestors were also beheaded one by one. With the fall of the three top true ancestors, Yi Tian also breathed a sigh of relief. The consumption is too much, the power of the true ancestor consumes 80%, and the power of the dark taboo is almost exhausted. Although I am not injured, I want to kill a top true ancestor. It is not easy. Yi Tian muttered. He also knows his own flaws. The power of the true ancestor is too small. After all, he is only at the initial stage of the avenue. Compared with the true ancestors in the late stage of the avenue and even the peak of the avenue, his power of the ancestor is not dominant at all. It's just that his true ancestor's power is too strong, a trace of it is stronger than dozens of traces of others. Of course, compared with the same level, his true ancestor's power is simply too much. After beheading the three top true ancestors, Yi Tian also has a general understanding of his own strength, which is stronger than the average top true ancestors, and comparable to the best of the top true ancestors. In terms of lasting combat capability, he is relatively weak. To sum up, Yi Tian is not afraid of any top true ancestor. As long as he does not encounter the strongest true ancestor, he will not be in danger. Moreover, he has created the 9th level true art, and with his cultivation speed, he has made rapid progress. In addition, his forbidden body is also progressing rapidly. Once tempered to the realm of 10%, the forbidden body can be regarded as entry. At that time, his strength will skyrocket. Therefore, it will not be long before he will not be afraid of the so-called Supreme Ancestor. Revoking the momentary time Dao technique, Yi Tian released Yao Yu from the universe within his body. True ancestor of 10,000 laws, what happened just now? Yao Yu was shocked. The three top true ancestors attacked and were killed by me. Let's go, let's save people. Yi Tian didn't want to talk nonsense, so he quickly shuttled with Yao Yu. Under Yao Yu's instructions, he quickly came to a star. The geniuses and powerhouses of the human race are all imprisoned here, and the ones left here are a few ordinary true ancestors, who were instantly wiped out by Yi Tian. Afterwards, all the geniuses of the human race were rescued. Lizong, the true ancestor profound handle knew the fall of the three top true ancestors, and was immediately furious. How could this be the case? The three top true ancestors, even if the three top true ancestors of the Zushan temple made a move, even if they were defeated, they would not fall. 1. True ancestor Shuangong said regretfully. Ordinary true ancestor, glazed tile sect doesn't care, but the top true ancestor is different, that is the backbone of glazed tile sect. He is also the top true ancestor, and the position of the three top true ancestors in the glazed tile school is just lower than him. Now, the three top true ancestors have fallen, and the true ancestor of Xuanling will probably reprimand him. But he still immediately went to report the true ancestor of Xuanling. After the true ancestor Xuanling learned about it, he was immediately furious, but he was not impulsive. Their glazed tile sect is only the power of the fifth layer of heaven. If their impulses lead to the forcedness of the glazed tile sect's mountain gate, then their sins will be great. Check carefully, you must find out, how did the three top true ancestors fall? Xuanling true ancestor ordered. On the other side, Yi Tian also found the true ancestor Shui from the Zushan temple and informed the true ancestor of the moon. Chapter 1067 The Introduction to the Forbidden Body, the true ancestor of the strongest. Fifth more. True ancestor of 10,000 laws, are you sure it was the glazed tile school? True ancestor Shui was a little afraid to believe. The glazed tile sect is a 5-layered power, and the Zushan lineage has nothing to do with the glazed tile sect. Why did the glazed tile sect assassinate the true ancestor of the Zushan temple? He couldn't understand, so he didn't quite believe Yi Tian's statement. Look. 1. Yi Tian took out the relics of the three true ancestors, and among them were the inheritance of the glazed sect and many other things. I killed 3 true ancestors, this is their thing, and the genius and powerhouse of our human race were arrested, and the other party led me out of the real world, obviously to kill me. The other party is a person from the glazed tile school, and I have nothing to do with the glazed tile sect. Obviously, the glazed tile sect started the assassination of our Zushan lineage, and this time the target is me. If you don't believe it, you can go and investigate. Yi Tian said. At this time, the true ancestor Shui had already believed Yi Tian's statement, and immediately frowned. If it were a normal force, he would have already led a large number of true ancestors to kill them. But the glazed tile school is different, it is the old top 5 heaven power. Although the Taoist ancestors of the glazed tile school cannot be born at present, the Taoist ancestors of the Zushan lineage cannot come to the ancient world of Xuanshu. As far as the true ancestor level is concerned, the Zushan lineage is not an opponent of the glazed tile school at all. Let me ask the Taoist ancestors. Shooting Moon true ancestor road. Yi Tian nodded, that's the only way it can be at the moment. He is not stupid and will not persuade the true ancestor Shui to lead the true ancestor into the glazed tile sect. The consequences are too serious. Even if the glazed tile sect can be severely damaged, the foundation of the Zushan lineage in the ancient world of Xuanshu will be gone. It didn't take long for the Taoist ancestors of the Zushan lineage to send back a message, letting the true ancestors of the false heaven stand by for the time being, and let the other true ancestors quickly return to the true kingdom of false heaven. Yi Tian had long expected this result. There is no way, unless the Zushan lineage can find the 6th and 7th layers of power to form an alliance, but it is only the Zushan lineage of the 4th level power, and people will only make the Zushan lineage surrender instead of forming an alliance. But the Zushan lineage is naturally unwilling to surrender to other forces. The Black Wind Mountain that Yi Tian joined is a good place, but the Black Wind Mountain is very strange. It does not accept any affiliated forces, but it is willing to accept members of other forces. Therefore, it is said that the Black Wind Mountain is a loose organization. But I have to admit that Haifeng Mountain is really awesome and does not need affiliated forces. Moreover, the way Haifunction cultivated geniuses was very domineering in the past, that is, part of it was cultivated by oneself, and part of it was directly plundered. There was no movement in the Zutianjun kingdom, and neither did the glazed tile sect. The two seem to have fallen into a special state of confrontation. Virtual world. A group of Taoist ancestors are having a meeting. I found out that it was the dark shrine that took refuge in the glazed tile sect, which led the glazed tile sect to deal with our Zushan lineage. A Taoist ancestor said. Strange, how can the people of the Dark Temple persuade the glazed tile sect to deal with our Zushan lineage? Judging from the current situation, the Taoist ancestors of the glazed tile sect have not awakened, just those true ancestors. I am afraid it is difficult to destroy the ancient world of Xuanshu. Zutianzhengguo, why do they want to help the Dark Temple? With the strength of the glazed tile school, you don't need to care about a Dark Temple, right? Perhaps the Dark Temple paid a price for the glazed tile sect to take action. In short, it is a fact that the glazed tile sect took action. What should we do next? It is not an option to stand by all the time. The true ancestor of 10,000 laws is not the peak master of Haifeng Mountain. Can you please move Haifeng Mountain to take action? If Haifeng Mountain takes action, the mere glazed tile sect is nothing. Many Taoist ancestors looked at Zushan Taoist. Yi Tian was the direct disciple of Zushan Taoist. Only Zushan Taoist could persuade Yi Tian. I'm afraid not. Haifeng probably won't listen to the orders of a mere peak master. Besides, at this sensitive period, how could Haifeng deal with the forces that belong to the realm of the gods? Zushan Daozu said lightly. But under the persuasion of many Taoist ancestors, Shu Tian Daozu still sent Yi Tian a message and asked him to give it a try. Here, after Yi Tian got the message from Daozu Zushan, he contacted Peak Master Long Li and conveyed his wish to ask Haifeng to take action. However, Peak Master Long Li refused on the spot. Juji Peak Master, although Haifeng Mountain is a loose organization, some things have strict regulations. After all, many people in Haifeng Mountain have other identities. Unless there are forces who want to deal with Haifeng Mountain will definitely not take it easy. Of course, if the 10 kings issue an order, we will definitely follow it. Otherwise, you can only mobilize yourself. The power under your command. Peak Master Long Li explained. Long Li Peak Master, I understand. Yi Tian sighed. Suddenly, Peak Master Long Li said again, Peak Master Juju, although you can't ask Haifeng Mountain to help you deal with the glazed tile sect, but you have used many treasures of Haifeng Mountain to improve your strength. Need to fear the glazed sect. That's right, Haifeng Mountain is at least an 8th level power. Among such powers, I can definitely easily improve my strength. Yi Tian suddenly realized. This is not to blame him, the main reason is that he has never replaced himself as the peak master of Haifeng Mountain, otherwise it would have been long ago to use Haifeng Mountain to improve his strength. Later, Yi Tian learned about some situations that he hadn't noticed before. For example, Black Wind Mountain mainly trades with points, and points can be purchased with resources, but this is not cost-effective. Another way is to accept tasks. However, the 10 kings fell asleep, the heavenly kings did not wake up, and there were almost no tasks released. Therefore, the true ancestors, peak masters, and generals of Haifeng Mountain still use the points they saved before. As a new peak master, Yi Tian is indeed difficult to obtain points by doing tasks at present, and can only exchange resources for points. So, Yi Tian took out a lot of resources and some precious things in exchange for 100,000 points. So many points are enough for him to practice for a long time. Through Peak Master Long Li, Yi Tian knew that many treasures in Haifeng Mountain had been destroyed, leaving only a few treasures, one of which was named Zaihu. Purple Lake is a normal treasure land, which can speed up the cultivation of the true ancestor's power, and has a boosting effect on all kinds of cultivation. Although it is not as good as the increase recorded in the ancient world, it can be superimposed with the increase recorded in the ancient world. If you practice in Zaihu points, if you accelerate the practice, it will be calculated as I in the time acceleration. Therefore, no one can find shortcuts. Yi Tian quickly came to the Purple Lake. Looking at the endless, pure purple lake, he jumped into it and began to practice. As soon as he cultivated, Yi Tian found that his speed of running the Juji Genju was much faster than usual. Very good, at this speed, the acceleration time is accelerated, and it won't be long before I can make great progress in my cultivation base. Yi Tian said excitedly. He arranged a large formation to maintain 10,000 times the time acceleration, 1 year outside and 10,000 years inside. In this way, 100 years have passed in the blink of an eye, and Yi Tian has cultivated for 1,000,000 years. Millions of years of penance cost him 10,000 points. For other peak masters, 10,000 points is probably their entire net worth, but Yi Tian used it up in a short time. This behavior is enough to be called a loser. After spending 10,000 points, Yi Tian's progress was naturally great. At this moment, Yi Tian's true ancestor's power has been at least several hundred times stronger than before, and his cultivation base has officially entered the middle stage of the Great Tao. At the same time, Yi Tian's forbidden body finally stepped into a realm in one fell swoop. That is to say, his forbidden body has become a minister. Forbidden body. As soon as Yi Tian was activated, his body was filled with the power of dark taboos, his whole body was covered with taboo rules, a terrifying aura filled the air, and the rules of the avenues receded far away, so he didn't dare to approach Yi Tian at all. At this moment, Yi Tian seems to be the master of all the rules, above the rules. And after activating the forbidden body, Yi Tian's power got a terrifying increase. My cultivation base in the middle stage of the Great Tao, plus 10% of the taboo body, I am afraid that my current combat power has reached the threshold of the Supreme True Ancestor, and I am a weaker Supreme True Ancestor. Yi Tian estimated. Chapter 1068 The Thousand Ways Technique. First update. How powerful is the true ancestor of the strong, enough to compete with the weaker false ancestors? In other words, it is the Daoshan realm, and the pseudo-Daozu is also a Taoist. Many Taoist ancestors are fake Taoist ancestors. It's only been so long, he has reached this level, what an amazing speed of improvement. Of course, if it weren't for the Purple Lake in Haifeng Mountain, he would not have risen to the level of the true ancestor so quickly. At the same time, he also realized how powerful the upper third-level forces are, and ordinary forces simply cannot compete with the upper-level third-level forces. The powers of the upper three layers of heaven can easily cultivate the top true ancestors, but it is difficult for ordinary forces to even give birth to a top true ancestor. Moreover, almost all the powers in the upper three layers of heaven have the most powerful true ancestors, and there are more than one, and even the invincible true ancestors sit in the seat, which can easily sweep the true ancestor level of ordinary forces. It's a pity that the effect of Zaihu on me has been reduced too much. If such a treasure land can always increase my cultivation speed, how great it would be. Yi Tian said regretfully, but soon, he calmed down again. Although there is no increase in the effect of Zaihu, but he still has 3 records in the ancient world, and he can still quickly increase the power of the true ancestor. No, I am not only recording the 3 ancient worlds, but the 4 ancient world records. Not long ago, Yi Tian obtained the 4th ancient world record, the strongest physique record. Because at that time, his forbidden body tempering reached 10%, and the forbidden body entry was regarded as condensed into the physique of the forbidden body. At present, among the true ancestors, he is the only one who has a forbidden body, so he created this record, far surpassing other physiques, and thus obtained this record. Unless someone also condenses the 340 taboo body and surpasses his forbidden body, he can break his record. The records of the 4 ancient worlds made Yi Tian's cultivation speed reach a terrifying speed. Therefore, after leaving Zaihu, Yi Tian's cultivation speed will only be slower, not too slow. Before leaving the Wind King small realm, Yi Tian used those points to exchange for another Dao technique. In the past, the Dao techniques obtained by Yi Tian and the Dao techniques he practiced were basically very common Dao techniques. According to the division of the God Heaven realm, they should belong to the small thousand Dao techniques. Most of the Taoist ancestors practiced the small thousand Dao technique, but on top of the small thousand Dao technique there were the middle thousand Dao technique and the great thousand Dao technique. And Daqian Daoshu is still not the strongest Daoshu, the strongest Daoshu belongs to the strongest Daoshu. Supreme Taoism is the ultimate Taoism, and there is no invincible Taoism. But the middle thousand Dao technique is almost the foundation of the middle 3 heavenly power, and it is almost impossible to spread it out, while the lower 3 heavenly power has almost no way to obtain the inheritance of the middle thousand Dao technique. Haifeng Mountain has the inheritance of Zongqin Taoism, but Yi Tian can only accept the inheritance to learn and cultivate, but he is not allowed to spread it. Moreover, he needs to pay 50,000 points for the inheritance of 1,000 Dao technique alone, and many true ancestors simply cannot afford the cost of inheriting the 1,000 path technique. But Yi Tian doesn't care about points, he only cares about his own strength. Generally, the true ancestor cannot practice the middle thousand Dao technique, but the true ancestor with Dao level natural talent can practice the middle thousand Dao technique. Yi Tian selected for himself the 1,000 Dao technique, called the Great Wilderness Dharma Body. This is a Zongqin Dao technique with both defense and combat power enhancement. It is very suitable for Yi Tian, and he happens to have the defensive Dao level natural talent of Desolation Defense. Therefore, he can practice any Dao technique involving defense. Back to the human race. Yi Tian began to practice the Great Wilderness Dharma Body, striving to succeed in the cultivation of this middle thousand Dao technique as soon as possible. By then, his life-saving ability will be stronger and his combat effectiveness will be stronger, at least he will not be the bottom of the Supreme Dao Ancestor. At the same time, the Glazed Tile School has finally completed the investigation of the Zushan Temple, and has also figured out the general truth of the fall of the 3 top true ancestors. The Hall of Glazed Sect. The true ancestor of Xuanling pointed at the true ancestor of Xuanggong angrily and said, "Waste, you did not even investigate the strength of the true ancestor of Wanfa, so you dispatched 3 top true ancestors to assassinate him, and as a result, the 3 top true ancestors fell. He has the records of the 3 ancient worlds, can he be a simple true ancestor? No, he now has the records of the 4 ancient worlds, and not long ago, he once again obtained the record of the strongest physique. True ancestor Xuanzang was scolded and couldn't retaliate, but he wanted to say in his heart, "Didn't you also investigate the strength of true ancestor of 10,000 laws?" Of course, this cannot be said, who makes his strength and status inferior to the true ancestor of Xuanling. The true ancestor of Xuanling is the only supreme true ancestor of the glazed tile sect, and he is only the top true ancestor. The true ancestor of Xuanling, the true ancestor of myriad laws, has the 4 ancient world records to increase the speed of cultivation, which is a huge threat. With his talent, I am afraid that he will soon be able to ascend to the supreme true ancestor. True ancestor Xuangang reminded, it's not that easy for him to become the supreme true ancestor. According to the results of our investigation, he fought with the 3 true ancestors of our glazed tile sect for a long time before killing them, and maybe he was injured. The strength of the true ancestor of all methods should belong to the good combat power among the top true ancestors. However, he has the strongest physique and the power of the strongest true ancestor, so it is difficult to kill. No matter how enchanting Tianzhao, he becomes the top true ancestor. Ancestor is not difficult, but it takes a long time CJFI to become the true ancestor of the strongest, or there is a great opportunity to have hope. How long has it been since then? How can the true ancestor of all methods become the true ancestor of the strong? But there you are right, he has the records of the 4 ancient worlds, and he is definitely a huge threat. This time, I'm going to do it myself. The true ancestor of Xuanling said. What, true ancestor Xuanling, do you want to do it yourself? True ancestor Xuangang was shocked. True ancestor Xuanling personally took action. What does he represent? It means that the glazed tile sect is about to invade the false heavenly kingdom in an all-round way. In this way, the glazed tile sect will suffer a great loss. This is the order of the Taoist ancestors. Xuanling Junzu said. The Taoist ancestors already know the existence of the Wanfa Junzu, and they also feel that people like the Wanfa Junzu are too dangerous. Moreover, beheading the Wanfa Junzu is very dangerous. We also have great benefits. He should be the son of luck in the ancient world of Xuanshu. Once such a son of luck is killed, we can deprive us of some luck, and our glazed tile school can even rise. Moreover, we still have boundary stones, and we are even expected to land on it. Enter the ranks of the 3 powers. When the time comes, we will look down on those weak and small powers, wouldn't it be fun? When will we invade the true kingdom of void heaven? True ancestor Xuangang had some expectations. He is not worried about his own safety. After all, he is the leader among the top true ancestors, not to mention the supreme true ancestor Xuanling true ancestors take the lead, and there are only 4 top true ancestors in the Hall of Void Heaven. So, no matter how tragic the fight is, the glazed tile school is not afraid at all. When the true ancestors of the Dark God Temple arrive, although the Dark God Temple is hunted down by the Zushan lineage, their number of true ancestors is more than ours. Even though most of these true ancestors are ordinary true ancestors and elite true ancestors, the top true ancestors, there are not many ancestors, but they are also a powerful force. Together with the true ancestors of the Dark Temple, we can definitely take down the Heavenly Realm Kingdom at the smallest price. The true ancestor of Xuanling believed to himself. Immediately, they began to ask the true ancestor of Fire Cloud to contact the true ancestor of the Dark Temple. For this plan, the Dark God Temple also agreed. Although it may be very serious, they don't care as long as the Void Heaven realm is destroyed. Soon, the Dark God Temple began to mobilize a large number of true ancestors. Almost 80% of the true ancestors were mobilized, and the Dark God Temple Hall Master personally delivered them. Although Zushan Daozu has been squatting and guarding outside the ancient world of Xuanshu, he cannot monitor everything around him all the time. Therefore, the master of the Dark Temple found an opportunity and instantly sent a large number of true ancestors into the ancient world of Xuanshu. Afterwards, the Dark God Temple master used a secret treasure to flee in an instant when the true ancestor of the void was attacking, and he did not know where to go. At this time, Zushan Daozu also conveyed a message that a large number of true ancestors in the Dark Temple came to the ancient world of Xuanshu, and I am afraid they have to deal with the real country of Zushan. For a time, all the true ancestors of the entire Zutianjun kingdom came out of the retreat and began to prepare for the war. Yi Tian also ended the retreat. He knew very well that the enemy this time was not only the Dark God Temple, but the Dark God Temple alone did not dare to fight against the true kingdom of Void Heaven so desperately. That is to say, the Glazed Tile School and the Dark Temple attacked together. In the face of such a powerful enemy, Shutianjun kingdom might be destroyed if it is not careful. For the first time, Shu Tianzhengguo chose to ask for help from some Zhengguo with better relations but was quickly rejected. Those true kingdoms have been warned by the glazed tile school for a long time. If there are forces who dare to support the true kingdom of void heaven, they will offend the glazed tile school. Besides, if you really ask for help, how many true ancestors will you die? Which force would be willing? For a time, the real country of virtual innocence fell into a crisis. Chapter 1069 The Only Way, challenge the true ancestor of Xuanling. 2nd. The real country of Zushan, the main hall of Zushan Palace. Yi Tian, Sheiyue true ancestor, Wumeng true ancestor, Xingyu true ancestor, and besides, there are a large number of other true ancestors gathered here one after another. But there are still many true ancestors who haven't arrived, not in the false heaven real kingdom, but guarding the surrounding formations of the false heaven true kingdom, protecting the nation, and opening the great formation to prevent the false heaven true kingdom from being easily penetrated. Yi Tian glanced around and roughly estimated the strength of the true ancestor of the Zushan lineage. He is the supreme true ancestor. There are 3 top true ancestors, 1,000 elite true ancestors, and hundreds of thousands of ordinary true ancestors. This is the number of true ancestors of the Zushan lineage. In addition, there are still about 100,000 true ancestors coming from the virtual world, but it will take a few days, and it is estimated that there is no way to catch up with the war. Report the number of true ancestors of the Dark Temple, and the number of true ancestors of the Glazed Tile School. Shooting Moon True Ancestor Road. At this time, a true ancestor who specialized in collecting information stood up and said, according to the investigation, there are about 10,000 true ancestors in the Glazed Tile sect, including 1 supreme true ancestor, dozens of top true ancestors, and nearly 5,000 elite true ancestors. The others are ordinary ancestors. And the Dark Temple has about 4 top ancestors, 1,000 elite ancestors, and 200,000 ordinary ancestors. In terms of the number of ancestors, we have the advantage, but at the top level, our Zushan temple not even close. The other true ancestors listened to this data and showed despair one by one. In such a battle, the common ancestor is not the key to the outcome of the battle, and ultimately depends on the top ancestor. But several top true ancestors before the Zushan lineage used the treasures of the combination to attack the real ancestor realm, resulting in only 3 top true ancestors, not as good as the Dark Temple. You must know that when the Dark Temple was chased by the Zushan lineage before, several top true ancestors had been killed. Otherwise, there would be more than 4 top true ancestors sent this time. And the Glazed Tile School is even more terrifying, dozens of top true ancestors, 1 supreme true ancestor, how can they fight? Is there no force willing to support us? The true ancestor Shooting Moon asked. No, even the bloodline forces that have a good relationship with us are not willing to support them. They are afraid of the Glazed Tile School, and they do not want a large number of true ancestors to fall and die. True Ancestor Wei reported. What else can you do? You can talk about it. True Ancestor Shooting Moon said with a little despair. There is nothing he can do. Once the dozens of top true ancestors are killed, what is the use of their top true ancestors alone? Once the supreme true ancestor makes a move, their 3 top true ancestors are estimated to be killed for a short time. Kill inside. Many true ancestors shook their heads one after another, all of them, there was nothing to do. At this time, Yi Tian stood up and said, I have a way. What method? True ancestor Sheiyui's eyes ignited with hope and looked at Yi Tian. Yi Tian said solemnly, the current strongest in the Glazed Tile sect is the supreme true ancestor named Xuanling True Ancestor. Fortunately, the Glazed Tile sect has only 1 supreme true ancestor. Fall early, then our crisis can be safely passed. Beheading the true ancestor of Xuanling, how can this be done? The true ancestors shook their heads one by one, thinking that this idea might as well go straight ahead. The true ancestor Sheiyue frowned and said, the true ancestor of 10,000 laws, you said to kill the true ancestor of Xuanling, how to kill it, and who will kill it? Me, Yi Tian said, I just happened to break through to the ranks of the true ancestors of the strongest. If I work hard, there is no hope of killing the true ancestors of Xuanling. What, the true ancestor of all methods, you have stepped into the ranks of the strongest true ancestor. Many true ancestors can't believe it. They all know that Yi Tian has only broken through to become the true ancestor of the strong, and it is incredible that he has become the true ancestor of the strong so quickly. True ancestor of myriad laws, if you really break through to the ranks of the supreme true ancestor, then you shouldn't take risks. I suggest to give up the true kingdom of void heaven first, withdraw from the ancient world of mysterious void, and come back later. True ancestor Sheiyue suggested road. This statement has been recognized by many true ancestors, and they have requested to withdraw from the ancient world of Xuanxu. However, Yi Tian retorted, once you give up the true kingdom of void heaven and want to kill it again, what are the chances? Moreover, once the Dark God Temple has mastered the true kingdom of void heaven and several other true kingdoms, it can definitely rise rapidly. How will we do then? Compete against them, and without the ancient world of Xuanxu, even if I want to make rapid progress, I can't do it at all. Don't forget, the glazed tile school is the ancestor of the fifth heaven, and we must make rapid progress before we can hope to compete with the real glazed tile sect. If you are afraid, then what are you resisting? Just surrender. Many true ancestors who said this were speechless. Yup, the Xuanxu ancient realm has now almost become the center of the Daoshan realm. There are countless opportunities here. Every true ancestor is making rapid progress. Once they leave here, I am afraid that it will take a long time for them to improve a little. For example, the foundation of the Dark God Temple in the ancient world of Xuanxu was destroyed, causing the true ancestors of the Dark God Temple to rarely increase, and even decrease rapidly in the continuous pursuit. However, the true ancestors of the real country of virtual innocence were born in large numbers, even surpassing the Dark Temple. You must know that the true ancestor of the Dark God Temple did not know how much more than the Zushan lineage in the past, but now the Zushan lineage has completely surpassed the Dark God Temple. If Zushan Yimai escaped this time, it would be really difficult to make a comeback. Therefore, this plan is not feasible. At this time, Yi Tian said again, we must take the initiative to attack. I will go to the glazed tile sect to publicly challenge the true ancestor of Xuanling, and you can also publicize it everywhere. In this way, under the general trend, the glazed tile sect will not be embarrassed to attack me in groups. Moreover, the true ancestor of Xuanling, as the true ancestor of the strongest, probably will not put me in his eyes, and will definitely accept my challenge. Once that time comes, I will directly block the battlefield and fight to the death with the true ancestor of Xuanling. As long as if I kill the true ancestor of Xuanling, the glazed tile sect will definitely lose the confidence to fight against our Zushan lineage. This is the only way to break the game. For flowers, true ancestor she did not refute, this was indeed the only way to break the situation. However, the premise is that Yi Tian wins. If Yi Tian loses, then Shu Tianjun Kingdom will not have any resistance. Well, once I'm defeated, you can immediately give up the kingdom of void heaven, how about that? Yi Tian suggested. Having said that, the other true ancestors have no opinion. I agree with the plan of the Master of all laws. 1. Seconded. Numerous true ancestors in the Zushan temple agreed to Yi Tian's plan with an almost unanimous vote. They didn't dare to waste time, for fear that the glazed tile school would immediately kill them, and in that case, the challenge would be too late. As a result, many true ancestors spread the news that Yi Tian challenged the true ancestor of Xuanling. Point 0. And Yi Tian also tore apart the void immediately, left the true kingdom of void heaven, and went to the relic space where the glazed tile school was located. In front of the glazed tile mountain, Yi Tian led the true ancestor of Shui and many other true ancestors, and issued a challenge letter with the power of rules. True ancestor Xuanling, you sent someone to assassinate me before, and today my true ancestor of myriad laws will challenge you, regardless of life or death. If you are afraid, I will leave immediately. It also means that true ancestor Xuanling fears me and admits it. This matter. Yi Tian spoke wildly. At the same time, the true ancestors of many forces also came to the vicinity, preparing to observe the battle and see the excitement. Among them there are many true ancestors who went to the third heaven. Inside the Luli sect, true ancestor Xuanling and the others were extremely angry and wished to destroy Yi Tian. The true ancestor of Xuanling, the true ancestor of 10,000 laws is here, we might as well kill him. The true ancestor Huiyan of the Dark Temple suggested. Currently, the true ancestors of the Dark Temple and the glazed tile sect are about to be assembled. As long as the true ancestor Xuanling gives an order, they can obliterate Yi Tian and others. At this time, you can't attack, otherwise our glazed tile school's reputation will be completely lost, and what if any force takes advantage of the problem? What should we do? Instead of attacking in groups, what a bad thing it is. Xuanling true ancestor said with a frown. Then what? Fire Cloud true ancestor asked. Battle. Xuanling Junzu said. Shu Tianzhong is estimated to be at the end of the road, and there is no way to do it, so I think this is not the way to do it. Maybe this ancestor of Wanfa wants to kill me, maybe it's delaying time, let the false heavenly kingdom retreat. But no matter what plan it is in vain. I am not an ordinary true ancestor, and I am not weak in the ranks of true ancestors. I can easily kill a true ancestor of myriad laws. Immediately, the true ancestor Xuanling responded to Yi Tian's challenge. Battle. Chapter 1070. The forbidden body came out, and the audience was horrified. Chapter 3. Boom. The gate of the glazed tile sect opened, and the figures of the true ancestors emerged, and the boundless momentum crushed the audience, making the true ancestors of the human race who came along to feel the power of the glazed tile sect. Immediately, several true ancestors of the human race trembled, fearing that the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect would take action directly, then they would be killed in an instant. But this didn't happen. These true ancestors of the glazed tile sect were just watching the battle and showing the strength of the glazed tile sect, to frighten the Zushan Temple and other juniors, and they did not intend to take action. I saw the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect spread their way out, and a young man in cyan armor stepped out of the void. Welcome Xuanling, true ancestor. One of the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect bowed their heads. Yi Tian's eyes were also placed on the true ancestor of Xuanling, and he looked at him carefully. The true ancestor Xuanling was also observing Yi Tian, and seeing Yi Tian's cultivation in the middle stage of the Great Tao, he didn't care, and even more contempt in his heart. The cultivation level in the middle stage of the Great Tao, even if you have the top true ancestor combat power, you can't fight for a long time. If the enemy is a little stronger, it will be enough to kill Yi Tian. This was the first view of the true ancestor Xuanling to Yi Tian. Of course, as the true ancestor of the strongest, he has the ability to despise any strong person who has not reached the level of the true ancestor of the strong. True ancestor of 10,000 laws, you want to challenge me? Very courageous. True ancestor Xuanling looked at Yi Tian indifferently and said. Good. Yi Tian nodded. Then have a fight. The true ancestor of Xuanling doesn't care about Taoism. After killing Yi Tian, showing his invincibility, and then entering the False Heaven Realm Kingdom, the true ancestors of the False Heaven True Kingdom would definitely not have the courage to resist. In this way, the loss of the glazed tile school will be smaller. As for losing, he never thought about it. Come on then. Yi Tian stepped forward and confronted the true ancestor of Xuanling in an empty void. The battle is imminent, but at this moment, Yi Tian sacrificed a treasure. It's a cube crystal. Go. The cube crystal turned into a barrier to block this area, covering Yi Tian and the true ancestor of mysterious spirit. The delimiting stone of the 10 directions, the true ancestor of 10,000 laws has such a treasure. However, this treasure is only fixed in a certain void and cannot be broken for 100 years. Only the invincible true ancestor or the second heavenly Tao ancestor can break the knot of the delimitation stone of the 10 directions. The world. The value of this kind of thing is not low. I didn't expect you to use it here. What, do you want to fight for life? True ancestor Xuanling said with a smile. Yes, we can only live one. Yi Tian said coldly. The 10 directions delimitation stone was exchanged with a general through the Wind King small realm, and he paid a lot of points just for this battle. If there is no Shifang delimitation stone, even if he severely injures the true ancestor of Xuanling, the people of the glazed tile sect will definitely intervene. At that time, he will still not be able to kill the true ancestor of Xuanling, and he will still not be able to change the situation. Therefore, he purchased the 10 square delimiting stone and set the enchantment. In this way, the true ancestor of Xuanling could never run away, and could only fight to his death. To be honest, Yi Tian didn't have much confidence in this battle because he didn't know much about the true ancestor of Xuanling. If the true ancestor of Xuanling is the kind of top-notch true ancestor, second only to the true ancestor of Invincible, then he cannot defeat the true ancestor of Xuanling anyway. The battle has begun. From the very beginning, Yi Tian inspired the forbidden body. As soon as the forbidden body appeared, the audience was shocked, even the true ancestor of Xuanling was stunned. What, you have condensed a forbidden body, how is this possible? True ancestor Xuanling couldn't believe it. The forbidden body must master the dark forbidden power at the half-step true ancestor or true monarch level, so that it can be tempered into a forbidden body at the true ancestor level. How difficult this is. If you rely on yourself, it is impossible to master the power of the dark taboo. Even the Taoist ancestors can't master the power of the dark taboo. The hope of becoming the supreme Tao ancestor is to master the power of the dark taboo, and thus the true ancestor who has mastered the dark taboo power, there is hope to become the supreme Tao ancestor in the future. Otherwise, only by relying on some kind of taboo strange object can we hope to master the dark taboo power at the Daozu level. But how rare the forbidden body is. Once it appears, those 7th heavenly Tao ancestors are afraid to fight for their lives to snatch it. Even in the realm of the gods, only those legendary forces established by the 9 heavens and the ancestors of the domain can hope to cultivate a true ancestor who has mastered the power of darkness and taboos. Before, the true ancestor of Xuanling thought that Yi Tian's strongest physique was some kind of terrifying physique, but he never thought that it was a taboo body. Damn, he actually mastered the dark taboo power and condensed into a taboo body. He must be killed in advance, otherwise our glazed tile school offends him and will inevitably suffer disaster in the future. 1 inch. Xuanling true ancestor thought. He is very fortunate that this time the battle of life and death with Yi Tian, and Yi Tian activated the 10-direction boundary stone, otherwise once Yi Tian escapes, the entire glazed tile school will panic for countless years. He must be killed at all costs. True ancestor Xuanling thought to himself. Outside world, countless true ancestors who watched the battle were also shocked when they saw Yi Tian's forbidden body. I didn't even meet a genius with a forbidden body. Unfortunately, he may not have a life and death battle with the true ancestor of Xuanling. After all, the true ancestor of Xuanling is the strongest true ancestor, and the true ancestor of Wanfa has just been promoted to the true ancestor, so there is no need to do so. If he hides for a period of time, he will become the supreme true ancestor. Even after becoming the invincible true ancestor, are you still afraid of a mysterious spirit true ancestor? Stupid people, they don't know how to forbear. It is said that the glazed tile school is going to deal with the true kingdom of virtual heaven, and the true ancestor of Wanfa is anxious, so let's do it. Hee, if I were the true ancestor of all methods, I would not care about the true kingdom of emptiness, and I would just hide it, and after hundreds of millions of years, wouldn't it be good to kill the glazed tile school? The true ancestor Shui saw that Yi Tian had mastered the taboo body, and was very regretful. He knew that Yi Tian possessed the taboo body and had such great potential, so he should persuade Yi Tian to leave again. If Yi Tian were to die, then the Zushan lineage would have lost a promising and even a genius who was expected to be the strongest Dao ancestor. What about the taboo body? It's just the entry-level taboo body. If you are a minor taboo body, I'm afraid I can't hurt you at all. But now, you still can't change the outcome. 1. True ancestor Xuanling roared. Dao technique, fire of Xuandu. Endless pale white flames descended, and the seemingly ordinary flames contained terrifying temperature and the power of rules. The void began to burn, and it was difficult for any of the top true ancestors to withstand the fire of Xuandu. Although the true ancestor of Xuanling does not have a Dao-level natural talent, his years of cultivation are too long, and it can be said that he is an ancient true ancestor. The reason why he was not promoted to the Dao Ancestor realm was because he wanted to be promoted to Dao Ancestor with the strongest foundation, so that he could hope to be promoted to a higher level in the future. It was because of his hard work and countless opportunities that he cultivated the art of the fire of Xuandu to the realm of small success. As soon as the fire of the Xuandu of the Shaocheng realm came out, many true ancestors were surprised and envied. After all, most of the top true ancestors could only cultivate Taoism to the entry level. Facing the fire of Xuandu, the true ancestor of Xuanling, Yi Tian did not underestimate. Taoism's Zijin true body opened. The fire of Xuandu fell on Yi Tian's body and was blocked by the Taoist Zijin real body, which could not hurt him in the slightest. The ultimate level of Taoism. How is it possible? True ancestor Xuanling was dumbfounded. At the true ancestor level, being able to cultivate a Dao technique to the level of small Chengdu is very remarkable, and to cultivate to the realm of Dacheng is considered to be against the sky. If a Dao technique is cultivated to the extreme level, there is only one possibility. You actually have a Dao-level natural talent. Xuanling true ancestor said jealously. If he also has the Dao-level natural talent, now I am afraid that there is hope to hit the ranks of the invincible true ancestors. Where will he stay in the ranks of the strongest true ancestors? Yi Tian is too lazy to respond to the true ancestor of Xuanling, reaching out as another Dao technique. Breakthrough. Click. The void collapsed, and the figure of the true ancestor of Xuanling retreated, but he was still injured a little by the space technique of splitting the sky, but he recovered quickly. It's another Dao technique at the limit level, and it's also a space attribute. You have more than one Dao level natural talent. What chance do you have? 5.8 True ancestor Xuanling was so jealous that he went mad. Not to mention the true ancestor of Xuanling, other true ancestors are also extremely jealous. They have never seen such a monster, they simply do not exist in the world. Just a small 1000 Taoist technique can't kill the true ancestor of Xuanling. Yi Tian sighed secretly. The Zijin true body and the sky-splitting technique just now were just a test to test the strength of the true ancestor of mysterious spirit. Facts have proved that the true ancestor of Xuanling is not too strong, but his Shao Qiandao technique cannot seriously injure the true ancestor of Xuanling. At this level, if you fight for 10,000 years, you will not be able to kill the true ancestor of Xuanling. You must use the Thousand Dao technique, the Great Wilderness Dharma Body. Yi Tian muttered. This Zongqin Dao technique from Haifeng Mountain, he had practiced to the entry level not long ago, and purchased a treasure similar to the Heavenly Soul Pill, and finally reluctantly cultivated the Great Wilderness Dharma Body to the small level. At this point, it is already the limit. But the Great Wilderness Fadian of the Shaocheng realm far surpassed the limit level Shaoqian Dao technique, so he had the confidence to fight the true ancestor of mysterious spirit. Using the Great Wilderness Law, I will win this battle. Yi Tian secretly said. Chapter 1071 The Power of Thousands of Taoist Techniques, Kill the Most Powerful Ancestor. Boom! An ancient, supreme, and desolate aura erupted from Yi Tian's body, forming an unmatched enormous pressure. Then, a layer of great desolation Dharma body appeared on Yi Tian's body, which was completely condensed by the supreme rules, and the entire body attracted huge increases and changes. This moment, Yi Tian turned into a 3-meter body, and his aura skyrocketed, as if every move could break the ancient world. At this time, some spectators exclaimed, Zongqian Dao Shu, Great Wilderness Dharma Body. Those who knew about Zongqian Dao were horrified, but many true ancestors did not know about Zongqian Dao, most of them were the true ancestors of Daoshan realm. What is Zongqian Daoism? A true ancestor of the Daoshan realm asked curiously. At this time, someone replied, the Dao techniques we usually understand are basically the small thousand Dao techniques, and the middle thousand Dao techniques are a level above the small thousands of Dao techniques. Unless you have a Dao level natural talent, you can't practice them at all. It is not easy to become a medium thousand way, and even if you have the natural talent of the Dao level, it is not easy to practice the medium thousand way. The Great Wilderness Dharma has both defense and enhancement effects. It can be said that after the Great Desolation Dharma is used, apart from the most powerful true ancestor, no one can defeat the true ancestor of all methods. No, there is another way, that is to exhaust the power of the true ancestor of all methods, and then you can defeat the true ancestor of all methods. But it is difficult to remain undefeated under the increase of the Great 29 Desolate Law. Said another true ancestor. As soon as the Great Wilderness Dharma Body came out, Yi Tian was full of confidence and aura, but the true ancestor of Xuanling was in a panic. You actually practice the Great Wilderness Dharma Body in the Thousand Way, and how can you obtain the inheritance of the Thousand Way? Xuanling true ancestor said in horror. The Glazed Tile sect also has the inheritance of the 3,000 ways of the tile, which is the foundation of the Glazed Tile sect, but even he is not qualified to obtain the inheritance of the 3,000s of ways. No way, even if he passed the Zongqian Dao technique to him, he couldn't practice it. Moreover, the Taoist ancestors of the first and second layers of the Glazed Tile school are not eligible for the inheritance of the Zongqian Taoism. Only the third-level Taoist ancestors can make great contributions or pay a huge price to exchange for the inheritance of the Zongqian Taoism. In the eyes of the true ancestor Xuanling, among the true ancestors, the powerhouses who have mastered the inheritance of Zongqian Taoism are all legendary geniuses. Unexpectedly, he encountered such a genius today. Yi Tian showed the forbidden body, he was not afraid, but Yi Tian showed the Great Wilderness Dharma, he was really afraid. The increase in combat power of the Zongqian Dao technique is really too great, and the defensive effect of the Great Wilderness Dharma body is so amazing that it is difficult for him to break Yi Tian's defense at all. How to fight this? Breakthrough. Yi Tian performed this technique again. With the increase of the Great Wilderness, the power of the air-splitting technique is dangerously close to that of the general attack type Qiandao technique. Such terrifying attack power will instantly hurt the true ancestor of the mysterious spirit, and it is not a minor injury, but a rather serious one, injury. Yi Tian did not use other Dao techniques, and if he used too many Dao techniques, the fact that he possessed a variety of Dao-level natural talents would be exposed. If someone combined the talents of the 10 Dao-level natural talents in the battlefield ruins, his copying talents might also be exposed. Therefore, Yi Tian would not foolishly expose all his Dao-level natural talents under such a public view. After he is promoted to Daozu, and then slowly exposes all Dao techniques, others will not think of Dao-level natural talents. Crackdown, crackdown, crackdown. Yi Tian did not hesitate to spend a lot of the power of the true ancestor, and kept performing the sky-splitting technique, which severely damaged the true ancestor of Xuanling again and again. At the same time, Yi Tian also mobilized the forbidden body and cast the forbidden spear. Such an attack was comparable to a single blow of Taoism. The point is, the damage from the forbidden spear is hard to recover from. With the passage of time, Xuanling true ancestor's injuries became more and more serious, and even with his recovery speed, it was difficult to recover from his injuries. Gradually, his combat effectiveness became weaker and weaker. Anyone can see that the true ancestor of Xuanling can't hold on anymore, and if it takes a while, I am afraid he will fall and die. True ancestor of 10,000 laws, are you really going to kill me? Don't forget, our glazed tile sect still has dozens of top true ancestors, and the Dark God Temple has already joined us. The power of the Supreme Ancestor cannot protect the true kingdom of virtual heaven. If you kill me, the true kingdom of virtual heaven will be destroyed. The true ancestor of Xuanling threatened. If the glazed tile sect dares to attack the true kingdom of void heaven, I will assassinate them one by one. With my strength, who can stop me from the glazed tile sect? Believe it or not, I will kill none of the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect, unless you, the glazed tile sect. Zong Function will not leave. Having said that, Yi Tian glanced at the true ancestor of profound handle through the barrier. This glance made the true ancestor Xuangang tremble, as if he had witnessed death. With the passage of time, the true ancestor of Xuanling was really unable to stop it, and every life-saving thing was consumed. Suddenly, a forbidden spear penetrated the head of the true ancestor of Xuanling, and then the air-splitting technique slammed on him, tearing him into pieces directly. Fall. 1. Yi Tian kept attacking, causing the vitality of the true ancestor of Xuanling to flow away quickly. Sudden. The vitality of the true ancestor of Xuanling passed quickly, the broken body turned into a corpse, and the soul of the true ancestor of Xuanling was completely shattered. One of the most powerful ancestors has fallen. At this time, Yi Tian's true ancestor's power was also at least 80% depleted, his physical strength and soul power were also consumed very seriously, and his body began to crack due to the repeated use of the air-splitting technique and the forcible maintenance of the Great Wilderness Dharma body. Fortunately, the true ancestor of Xuanling fell, otherwise Yi Tian would not be able to last for long. The true ancestor of Xuanling fell, and many true ancestors of the glazed tile school were lost. This is the only true ancestor of their glazed tile school. With the fall of the Xuanling true ancestor, their glazed tile sect lost the only supreme true ancestor and lost the pillar to deter other forces. It can even be said that the glazed tile school can't even deter some of the triple heaven forces. Among the sects, true ancestor Huiyan was also stupid. He did not think that the combination of the Dark God Temple and the glazed tile school could definitely destroy the true kingdom of Zushan and cause a heavy blow to the lineage of Zushan. But now, before the attack started, the true ancestor of Xuanling died directly. What should I do? Continue to persuade the true ancestor of Xuangang to attack the true kingdom of void heaven? He didn't dare to say it, for fear of angering the true ancestor profound handle. After all, the true ancestor of Xuanling died because of the fall of the Dark Temple, and he might be full of anger towards the Dark Temple. At this time, he had better keep a low profile, otherwise it would be too wrong to be killed by the glazed tile school. 340 When the true ancestor of Xuanling died, although the glazed tile school was angry, he did not dare to do anything. Yi Tian's words really deterred him. The glazed tile sect currently has no true ancestor who can contain Yi Tian. If Yi Tian really assassinates the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect, no one can stop it. Perhaps they besieged Yi Tian and could kill Yi Tian, but how difficult it was. They didn't dare to gamble. Once the gamble was lost, the glazed tile school would probably not wait for the day when the Taoist ancestors woke up. Yi Tian removed the Shifang delimiting stone, but after using this treasure once, it was useless, and it was directly shattered and turned into a waste stone. Seeing that the glazed tile sect did not make a move, Yi Tian left with several true ancestors of the human race and returned to the true kingdom of void heaven. And at this time, the glazed tile school also lost the last chance and never had the chance to kill Yi Tian again. Yi Tian's battle to kill the true ancestor of Xuanling was publicized, shocking countless powerhouses in the ancient world of Xuanshu. Black Wind Mountain. Peak Master Long Li was dumbfounded when he learned that Yi Tian had killed a supreme ancestor. He remembered that he had guided Yi Tian to become the Peak Master not long ago, when Yi Tian barely crossed the threshold of the top true ancestor and was far from his opponent. But now, Yi Tian beheaded a supreme true ancestor, and he has not yet entered the ranks of the supreme true ancestor. This shows that Yi Tian's strength has surpassed him and has the strength to kill him. With the strength of the true ancestor, and the fact that there are not enough generals in Haifeng Mountain, Yi Tian can even apply to become a general of Haifeng Mountain. In fact, it was 10 years after Yi Tian killed the true ancestor of Xuanling. General Zusha personally sent a message to Yi Tian and invited Yi Tian to become a general of the Black Wind Mountain. Chapter 1072 The Secret Law of Harmony. First more. Wind King Small Realm. Yi Tian used the Black Wind Territory technique to come here, and saw the legendary Blood Fiend General. The Blood Evil General is wearing a blood-colored battle robe, and there is blood flowing on it, as if it will be immortal for hundreds of millions of years. Yi Tian didn't think that an invincible figure like General Zusha would not be able to clear the blood on his shirt. He must have deliberately not cleared it. He felt a pure Tao energy aura from this blood. It was the blood of a Tao ancestor. Yi Tian guessed that General Zusha probably killed a powerful Taoist ancestor, and this battle robe soaked in the blood of the Taoist ancestor was a kind of honor for him. This is like some generals in ancient times of the earth were injured, but the injury is the proof of war. It is an honor, not a wound. I've seen the bloody general, Yi Tian said respectfully. Juji Peak Master is very polite. Sit down. General Zusha waved his hand. A hall was completed, and 2 seats appeared under the 2 of them, and a round table appeared in front of them, which was filled with all kinds of rare spiritual fruits. Let's get down to business. I want you to become a general in Haifeng Mountain. At present, there are only a few dozen generals in Haifeng Mountain, which is still far from the perfect 108 generals, and you have been promoted to become the true ancestor. Qualified to be a general, said the Blood Fiend General. General Zusha, if I am a general, what do I need to do? Also, is there any difference between a general and a peak master? Yi Tian asked. General Zusha laughed and said, Juji Peak Master speaks very directly, and he doesn't know much about the position of a general. Other peak masters really want to become generals, but they are not qualified to become generals. First of all, once you become a general, you can immediately obtain the inheritance of the 3,000 Wei arts. Moreover, the generals can browse the books and inheritance far beyond the peak master. In addition, the general has the control of at least one space in the small realm. In this space, you can build own foundation, cultivate the talents under your command. Except the 10 kings, no one is qualified to enter your space, not even the heavenly king. Moreover, once you become a general, you can get promotion to Daozu and more secrets. The secret is very precious, and the peak master is not qualified to come into contact with it. As for what needs to be done after becoming a general, for the time being, there is no need to do anything, but there are forces to deal with Haifeng Mountain, and the general needs to take action. Moreover, once you become a general, you will not be allowed to do anything in the future. Other forces above the middle and third layers are at the top, and they are not allowed to be the suzerain or leader of other forces. After all, the general is also the top level of our Haifeng Mountain. No matter how loose Haifeng Mountain is, he cannot recruit other forces. Otherwise, there is no way to deal with the relationship with other forces. Yi Tian also agrees with what General Zusha said about not being a high-level, suzerain or leader of other forces above the 3rd level. For example, he has become a high-level leader of the Zushan lineage and holds great power. If the Zushan lineage offends Haifengtian, what should he do as the general of Haifengtian? If you are not at the top, then the impact will not be big. From the current point of view, the help of the Zushan lineage to Yi Tian is not very big, but his master is the Zushan Daozu, and the Zushan Daozu takes great care of Yi Tian, so he helps the Zushan lineage like this. But once he becomes a Taoist ancestor in the future, it is impossible to continue to stay in the Zushan lineage. After all, the Zushan lineage cannot improve his strength. Moreover, his real foundation is the human race, not the Zushan lineage. So, I would like to be a general, Yi Tian said. He believed that Zushan Daozu would also support his approach and would not object. Very good. General Zusha nodded with satisfaction. If Yi Tian was unwilling to give up the rights of the senior leaders of the Zushan lineage, then he could only let Yi Tian continue to serve as the peak master, and would not let him become a general. After all, the generals of the Black Wind Mountain know too many secrets, and they must be internal personnel and core personnel. Yi Tian originally thought that becoming a general would require an assessment, but he did not expect that General Zusha would directly make him a general. However, Yi Tian needs to make an oath, not to betray Haifeng Mountain, not to serve as a high-level, suzerain or leader of other forces above the 3rd level. What Yi Tian made was not an ordinary oath, but an oath of his life. Once violated, his cultivation base would not be able to advance by an inch, or he would fall and die. Certainly, the oath is not impossible to break. If one becomes the supreme true ancestor and the invincible true ancestor in the future, the mere oath will be useless. That existence cannot be restrained by oath at all. They have almost jumped out of the rules and are real powerhouses. After becoming a general in Haifeng Mountain, General Zusha brought Yi Tian to a special space in Haifeng's small realm. Here, Yi Tian saw a small library, but the library here is not simple, although there are few books, but each book is actually inscribed with the supreme treasure of the Tao, the leaves of the Tao. They are all extremely important information, and some information is not even tolerated by the rules. Jade slips and even ordinary books and stone tablets cannot be recorded, and the information can only be carried by the leaves of the avenue. This book records the secrets about the promotion of Daozu, you must browse it. General Zusha picked up a book and handed it to Yi Tian. Yi Tian took it over, browsed it carefully, and was immediately shocked. That's right, what General Zusha said was right. This book did record the secrets of the promotion of Daozu, and it was a great secret that he had never heard of before. There are several methods of promotion mentioned above. The first is to use the ancestral tablet to join the Taoist path to promote the Taoist ancestor. This is the worst Taoist ancestor. It is a false Taoist ancestor. The future achievements are also the first and second Taoist ancestors, and even an inch is difficult to advance. The second one is slightly better, which is to use some treasures with less side effects to forcibly join forces. The third method is to use the combination of Taoist treasures to combine Taoism, which is also the method chosen by many Taoist ancestors in the God Heaven realm, and there are almost no sequelae and defects. However, what Yi Tian saw in this book is that once he uses the combination of treasures, he is closely related to the rules of the realm, and it is difficult to get rid of the rules of the realm and jump out of the rules. Of course, this has no effect on the true ancestors who cannot be promoted to the strongest Taoist ancestors, but geniuses who are confident to be promoted to the top strong Taoist ancestors are absolutely not allowed to use the combination of Taoist treasures for promotion, it can't be used at all. The fourth way to promote Daozu is to rely on oneself to join the Tao without any external objects. For example, Yi Tian has already completed the unity of spirit, energy and spirit, so he can naturally join the Tao easily without any external objects. However, the fifth method of reconciliation is also recorded above, and it is the best method of reconciliation. Use the dark forbidden power to join the way. Yi Tian was shocked. This method is crazy, and the true ancestor who has not mastered the forbidden power at the true ancestor level can also use this method to join the Tao. The only way is to enter the dark forbidden area, and then perform a special combination of secrets, absorb the power of the dark taboo, forcibly unite one's own spirit, chi and spirit, and contaminate a trace of the power of the dark taboo. This method does not seem to be useful, but after being contaminated with a trace of dark taboo power, it can at least increase the probability of 30% when it hits the true ancestor of the strong in the future. After all, to become the supreme ancestor, you must master the power of the dark taboo, but you have already been contaminated with the breath of the dark taboo power, and it is much easier to completely master the power of the dark taboo. But if alright you have mastered the dark taboo power in advance, and then use the dark taboo power to join the road, the taboo body will greatly improve, and there is hope to master the taboo rules. The taboo rules are above all the rules. Once mastered, not only the bottleneck of becoming the supreme Taoist ancestor is gone, there is even a great hope of being promoted to the invincible ancestor. Of course, the most precious thing is the forbidden power and the secret law minister. You want the secret method, don't you? Seeing that Yi Tian had finished reading, General Zusha smiled and said. Yes. Yi Tian nodded. That secret method is very precious. It is one of the foundations of Haifeng Mountain. Naturally, it will not be granted to you easily, and I don't have it at present. It must be granted by the living six kings in person. Consciousness. Unless you are promoted to the invincible true ancestor, you have the right to awaken the consciousness of the six kings. At present, you cannot obtain the secret method of combining the Tao. General Zusha explained. After Yi Tian knew about it, he was not in a hurry. Anyway, he was going to hit the Tao ancestor realm, and he didn't know how long it would take. Then, General Zusha took out another book and let Yi Tian browse it. Chapter 1073 The Secret of Haifeng Mountain. The Secret Creation of Montenegro. This is the name of the canon. Yi Tian browsed it carefully and was shocked. Black Wind Mountain turned out to be a force created by a domain ancestor, and the original 10 kings were the 10 direct disciples of that domain ancestor. What a great secret! It stands to reason that the power created by the ancestors of the domain is a legendary power, and it should not be only at the level of Black Wind Mountain. However, the domain ancestor was on the verge of collapse when he created Haifeng Mountain. It turned out that the ancestor of the domain was called the ancestor of the Black Wind domain. He was not a person from the realm of the gods, but came from an unknown realm. The Dark Forbidden Area, across the endless Dark Forbidden Area, encountered many dangers. After a long period of time, the ancestor of the Black Wind territory encountered many terrifying events in the dark Forbidden Realm, and finally came to the Divine Heaven Realm when he was about to fall. But he was disappointed. The strongest person in the Divine Sky Realm was only the ancestor of the domain, and there was no way to break through. At that time, the ancestor of Haifengyu was no longer able to go deep into the dark forbidden area to find other realms, and the injury of the ancestor of Haifengyu was too serious, and the real foundation was injured, and his life was not long. Therefore, the ancestor of Haifengyu selected 10 true disciples and prepared to leave his inheritance in the realm of the gods. In this way, the prototype of the Black Wind Mountain was created. After the fall of the Haifengyu ancestor, the 10 kings began to expand the Haifengyu Mountain. Over the long years, the Haifengyu Mountain has also experienced many disasters, and finally broke through again and again, relying on the background of the Haifengyu ancestor. Haifengtion also knows the truth of Loki, so it hides its strength, and the outside world does not know the strength of Haifengtion. The real preliminary understanding of Haifeng Mountain's strength is basically the forces of the upper third heaven, and Haifeng Mountain is not willing to confront these forces. In addition to the magic of the Black Wind domain, the upper third heaven forces can't do anything about Haifeng Mountain, can't find the headquarters at all, and can't catch the high level. And Yi Tian now knows that the Black Wind Territory arts is one of the inheritances from the ancestors of the Black Wind Territory, and the Black Wind Territory arts he cultivated is only a weakened version. The real original is the Black Wind Realm technique, a supreme secret technique that only Taoist ancestors can cultivate. A door of classics records a series of secrets, only generals can browse, and Yi Tian can browse it to the fullest, and also knows many secrets of Haifeng Mountain. But Yi Tian knew very well that Haifeng Mountain had more important secrets that were not open to him, not even General Zusha. At present, these secrets are only for Yi Tian to know more about Haifeng Mountain, but the actual benefit is only the secret of combining the secrets, which is the secret that helps and guides his practice. But these secrets also made Yi Tian understand that Haifeng Mountain is definitely a thick thigh, and he has to hug it tightly. The reason why Haifengtion is willing to share these secrets is to make the high-level generals and above recognize and be more loyal to Haifengtion. Next, General Zusha took Yi Tian to the place where the Qiandao technique was passed down, and let Yi Tian choose 3 of the Qiandao techniques. Yi Tian chose these 3 Zhang Qiandao techniques, and finally settled on the 3 Zhang Qiandao techniques. The 3 techniques of the 1,000 paths are a vacuum without self, a real spear of 10,000 evils, and extreme speed of Tiangong. Among them, egoless vacuum is a 1,000 Dao technique that involves space, nothingness, and soul, but it is mainly related to space, so Yi Tian can cultivate him at the true ancestor level. The Wansha true spear is a 1,000 path technique in the attack category. It corresponds to the sect level natural talent of hell, and has a very high degree of fit. Therefore, Yi Tian can also cultivate the Wansha true spear. As for the extreme speed of Tiangong, it is a speed-type Zongqin Dao technique. Once practiced, the speed is so fast that even Dao ancestors cannot catch up. It is an excellent Zongqin Dao technique for fighting and escaping. Certainly, Yi Tian would need a long time if he wanted to cultivate these 3 middle 1,000 Dao techniques successfully, and raise them to the realm of small achievement or above. After all, he couldn't take the heavenly soul pill anymore, and the treasures that could have an effect on him and greatly improve his understanding were also relatively rare. Unless Yi Tian can break the records of the ancient world one after another, then his comprehension will be greatly increased, and he will be able to quickly comprehend the thousands of ways. After the selection of Zongqin Taoism is completed, the next step is to choose an exclusive independent space. Wow! The Blood Evil General waved his hand, and one by one light spots appeared. These light spots represent a small boundary space, and it is a space that can be used to reward generals and currently has no owner. General Juji, the realm of the other 5 kings is seriously damaged at present, so they are all closed, and they are in the process of full repair. Only the small realm of the Wind King is still in operation, and these are the independent spaces that can be selected at present. You choose one, and then use the general's order to refine the formation of these independent spaces. You can control the independent space. Moreover, the next time you enter the small Black Wind realm, you can choose to directly enter your own independent space, and it is difficult for others to detect your actions. Even I don't know if you have entered the small realm of the Wind King. General Zusha introduced. Let me see. Yi Tian saw the situation of the independent spaces through the light spots. Some independent spaces still have various buildings left, some are more primitive, similar to the primitive times, and some are more barren, as if they had experienced a war. That's it. Yi Tian picked an independent space. This independent space is nothing special, similar to the environment of the Earth, but in front of it is countless times that of the Earth. There are mountains, seas, deserts and various environments here, so it is very suitable for Yi Tian. Okay, then I'll give you this independent space. The bloody general agreed. Afterwards, Yi Tian entered this independent space with a general order, and named it Juju space, which represented that this space belonged to his Juju general. In a short time, Yi Tian used the general's order to refine the formation of this space and completely controlled this independent space. At the same time, Yi Tian also sensed many spaces in Haifeng small realm, but some spaces could not be sensed. One of the perks of being a general is being aware of what's going on in many public spaces. Yi Tian muttered. In the following days, Yi Tian stayed in his Juju space, busy transforming this space. He didn't bring his wife in. Although this space was huge, it was still a little boring compared to the outside world, and it was inconvenient for the first time. However, Yi Tian still selected a group of geniuses from the human race as his foundation in the Black Wind Mountain in the future, and many geniuses are also willing to rely on Yi Tian. In this way, Juji space slowly became lively. Little Black Wind Tower. This is an entry-level cultivation pagoda, which can be accelerated by 10,000 times, which is not small, and thus points. Since 1 year is equivalent to 100,000 years of cultivation, even if it takes 10 points, many generals are willing to enter here to cultivate. Of course, if the acceleration was only 100,000 times the time, the generals would not spend those 10 points. The main reason is that the chaotic vitality contained in the small Black Wind Tower is extremely rich, and it can slightly increase the speed of cultivation and the speed of enlightenment. Yi Tian has a lot of points in his hand, so naturally he doesn't care about 10 points. So, Yi Tian entered this small Black Wind Tower and started to practice. After stepping into the middle stage of the Great Tao, Yi Tian knew very well that it was unrealistic for him to make rapid progress, and it would still take a long time. Time has passed year by year, and in the blink of an eye it is 100 years. At this time, Yi Tian had already spent 1,000 points, which was a very large number for many peak masters. 100 years ago, Yi Tian practiced in the Little Black Wind Tower for tens of thousands of years, and then his progress was not great. His cultivation was still in the middle stage of the Great Tao, but he was approaching the peak of the middle stage of the Great Tao. For Yi Tian, his biggest improvement was that with the help of many treasures that improved his comprehension and the increase in the records of the 4 ancient worlds, he had initially entered into the cultivation of those 3 middle thousand Tao techniques. With the introduction of the 3 major middle thousand Tao techniques, and the addition of a great desolate method with a small achievement, the cultivation base has also improved a lot. Yi Tian's current strength is much stronger than when he fought with the true ancestor of Xuanling. This day, Yi Tian left the Juju space and returned to the human race territory. Chapter 1074 The body of the beast is exposed. 3rd. Human race. Yi Tian came back again. This time he didn't recruit some human geniuses, he didn't need too many subordinates, and he didn't have the intention to spend a lot of resources to cultivate. Soon after, he went to the Zushan temple and let go of the power in his hands. Before, he showed the strength of the true ancestor, and many rights of the Zushan temple were handed over to him, and he had become the leader and decision-maker of the Zutianjun kingdom. But now, he has become a general of Haifeng Mountain, and his focus is on Haifeng Mountain. Naturally, he cannot continue to hold power in the Zushan lineage. Besides, he doesn't seem to worry too much. Therefore, Yi Tian handed over the rights to the true ancestor Shui, who is the ancient true ancestor of the Zushan lineage. In addition, the true ancestor Shui has a very high generation and prestige, so it is naturally suitable to continue to lead the Zushan temple. True ancestor of 10,000 laws, it is more suitable for you to manage the Hall of Void Heaven. True ancestor Shui persuaded. True ancestor Shui, there are some things that are inconvenient to say, but I will no longer manage the affairs of the Zushan temple, unless the Zushan temple is in danger, I will come to help. You can treat me as an idle person. Yi Tian said with a smile. He didn't tell the true ancestor Shui that he was from the Black Wind Mountain. The fewer people knew about this, the better, otherwise it would be a little troublesome in the future. After the true ancestor Shui tried to persuade him many times to no avail, he stopped persuading him. This day, Yi Tian contacted his master Shu Tian Daozu again. Master, I have given my rights to true ancestor Shui, and I will no longer manage the Hall of Void Heaven. Yi Tian said truthfully. Oh why? Zushan Daozu was curious. Yi Tian did not hide it, and said directly, the disciple has become a general of Haifeng Mountain, and the general of Haifeng Mountain belongs to the high level of Haifeng Mountain. If he continues to be in charge of the Zushan temple of the Zushan lineage, it is not in line with high function. The rules of the general. However, the disciple is also the disciple of the master no matter what, the true disciple of the Zushan lineage. Shu Tian Dao ancestor did not reprimand Yi Tian, but was rather relieved. He knows very well that it is difficult for the Zushan lineage to cultivate Yi Tian to a higher level, and Haifeng Mountain is very extraordinary, and he also understands that this is a powerful force that is at least comparable to the 7th level heaven in the upper 3rd level heaven. In the future, if the Zushan lineage is in trouble, he might need help from Haifeng and Yi Tian. Therefore, he naturally would not prevent Yi Tian from becoming the general of the Black Wind Mountain, and would only agree with both hands. Teacher, you have already helped the Zushan lineage a lot. If it weren't for you, the Zushan lineage would not have been able to give birth to so many Taoist ancestors, nor could it become the 5th transcendental force. Zushan Daozu said. The two chatted a lot, and Shu Tian Daozu also told about the recent pursuit of the Dark Temple. It's a pity that the headquarters of the Dark Temple is hidden too deep, so far it has not been found. And most of the true ancestors of the Dark Temple are hidden in the glazed tile school, and there is no movement at present. After all, the Zutianjun kingdom is too weak to really enter the glazed tile school, so it has not dealt with this matter. After a while, Yi Tian disconnected from Shu Tian Dao ancestor. In the days that followed, Yi Tian occasionally instructed the geniuses of the younger generation of the human race in the Juji space, dividing them into legions, known as the Juji Monarch Corps. On the other hand, he also occasionally retreats to practice, comprehends Taoism, cultivates the forbidden body, and cultivates the Juji true art. In a word, Yi Tian is very busy and has no spare time. The years passed slowly, and the ancient world of Xuanxu seemed to be very calm, and there was no major conflict. However, a big thing happened in the chaos of Daoshan realm. There is a forbidden area in the chaos of the Daoshan boundary. This is a very remote forbidden area, very close to the dark forbidden area. In addition, this forbidden area is very dangerous and there are no treasures of opportunity, so few strong people come here. This forbidden place is called the forbidden place of evil beasts. There are many terrifying beasts with the strength of the true ancestors in the forbidden area of evil beasts, and there are even evil beasts comparable to the level of Taoist ancestors. Of course, as long as you don't provoke evil beasts, it's fine. The most dangerous thing in the forbidden area of evil beasts is not evil beasts, but the natural killing array and evil spirits that permeate the entire forbidden area. If you are not the true ancestor, you will die as soon as you enter the forbidden area, unless you use special treasures and take special medicine pills. And those natural killing formations are even more dangerous, and can even threaten the life of Daozu. In addition, this forbidden area is very large, and it will distort the sense of direction. Once you enter it, it is easy to get lost and unable to get out. Therefore, this evil beast forbidden area is very scary. However, today a Taoist ancestor came to the forbidden area of evil beasts. This is the forbidden place for evil beasts. That's great, there must be all kinds of powerful evil spirits here. I created the 9 demons' heavenly secret art. I need 9 powerful evil spirits as the foundation, and the evil spirits in other places are too weak, far inferior to the evil spirit of the forbidden land of evil beasts. With the strength of my 3rd level heavenly Dao ancestor, I should not encounter any danger. Ming Sha Daozu murmured. As a 3rd level heavenly Dao ancestor, he is almost the top combat power in the Dao mountain realm. He does not think that a mere forbidden area can threaten him. Moreover, he only heard that the Taoist ancestors of the 1st and 2nd heavens fell in the forbidden area of evil beasts, but he never heard of the Taoist ancestors of the 3rd heavens falling here. Therefore, this demonic beast forbidden area can at most threaten the ancestors of the 1st and 2nd layers of heaven. Wow! Ming Sha Daozu flew into the forbidden area of evil beasts, looking for the evil spirit he wanted. Along the way, he encountered several evil beasts, but they were all weak, only comparable to the true ancestor, and were easily killed by him. I don't know how far he flew, and Daozu Mingsha suddenly sensed a special breath. He followed this breath quickly and came to the core area of the forbidden area of the evil beast. Suddenly, Daozu Mingsha saw a huge biological corpse, occupying a considerable area of the core area of the forbidden area of the evil beast. Ask for flowers. It crawls here like a continent, but unfortunately it has no life and is just a corpse. If it was before, the Dao ancestor of Mingsha would not necessarily know this creature. But now, the inheritance, knowledge, and various secrets of the gods have spread to the Daoshan realm, and they are also well known by these Dao ancestors. Therefore, Ming Sha Daozu recognized it at a glance. The beast. Ming Sha Daozu was excited. This is a world beast. Although it looks a little small, it should be a young world beast, and it is also a world beast. If it is an adult living world beast, the strength is stronger than him, and it is not a good thing to meet. And even if the value of a dead world beast is weakened by 99%, it is still unimaginable value to him. Posted. I actually encountered a dead world beast. If I sell it, I'm afraid I can sell it for a lot of money. Daozu Mingxia thought to himself. Maybe, he can still use this opportunity to cultivate to the realm of the 4th Heavenly Dao Ancestor or even the 5th Heavenly Dao Ancestor. 0. He believed that those domain forces would definitely be willing to spend a lot of money to buy his body beast. So, the Daozu Mingxia flew to the world beast. Suddenly, he felt a big formation covering this place, and the big formation opened. At the same time, a strong aura was exposed. Boom! An aura of the top 3 Heavenly Dao Ancestor locked him. Seeing the person coming, Mingxia Daozu was terrified. It's you, Lord of the Dark God. Could it be that this is? Mingxia Daozu completely understood. This is the headquarters of the Dark Temple. The headquarters of the Dark Temple is actually in the inner world of a dead world beast. No wonder people have been unable to find the headquarters of the Dark Temple, or even deduce it. Who can deduce the beast? A creature like a world beast, even if it dies, it is a creature that almost jumps out of the rules of the world. Escape. Mingxia Daozu immediately made a decision and fled quickly. He knew very well that the Dark Temple would never let him go, and would definitely keep him at all costs, otherwise the headquarters of the Dark Temple would be exposed. And the master of the Dark Temple is the top 3-level Tiandao Ancestor, and he is just an ordinary 3-level Tiandaozu. In terms of strength, he is not an opponent. Mingxia Daozu, you can't run. The Lord of the Dark Temple came after him. At the same time, the 2nd Heavenly Dao Ancestor, who was located in several other strongholds in the demonic beast territory, also quickly came from all directions, trying to stop the Mingxia Dao Ancestor. Although the Taoist ancestors of the Dark Temple were killed by Shu Tian's lineage, there were at least a dozen of them. Boom! In the forbidden area of the evil beast, the battle began. Mingxia Daozu didn't have the slightest intention to fight, just to escape. Even if those 1st and 2nd layer Tiandao ancestors attacked him, he would not fight back. Soon, the Dark God Temple Master also chased after him. Chapter 1075 A Wooden Sword. Mingxia Daozu, you can't escape. The Lord of the Dark Temple roared. He was also very depressed. The forbidden area for evil beasts was very remote, and there was no chance. Why did the Taoist ancestor come here? Moreover, he also has some understanding of the Dao ancestor of the Ming dynasty. Although this 3rd-level Dao ancestor specializes in cultivating suffocating energy, he does not know how many places in the chaos are rich in suffocating energy. He should not come to such a remote forbidden place. It wouldn't be surprising if he knew that the Daozu of Mingxia had created a suffocating Qigong technique that required the top suffocating Qi. Must kill him, the Dark Temple Master secretly said. In the past, there were occasional true ancestors who entered the forbidden area of evil beasts, but once they were discovered, Daozu shot and killed them instantly. But a 3rd-level Heavenly Dao Ancestor is not so easy to kill. Once the Mingxia Dao Ancestor escapes, he knows what the consequences will be. Die. The Lord of the Dark Temple performed a Taoist technique, the Great Dark God Spear. The Daishan Divine Spear, which was about to be completed, pierced through in an instant, directly piercing the body of Daozu Mingxia with terrifying power, but this blow alone could not kill Daozu Mingxia. I saw that the Daozu of Mingxia used an escape-type strange object, and escaped from the forbidden area of the evil beast in an instant, 3 or 4, and the Taoist ancestors of the Dark Temple chased and killed together, and also used strange objects to catch up. Daozu Mingxia. In this way, the two sides chased and fled in the chaotic void. For the Dark Temple, the only good news at present is that there is no way for Mingxia Daozu to communicate to others. Like this kind of chaotic void, if you want to send a message to an acquaintance in the distant void, you must prepare for a long time, and it must be a stable void. Under the pursuit of the Dark Temple, the void is very unstable, and there is no way to stably transmit signals. This is also the reason why some people are being hunted down and no one knows about it, because it is difficult to transmit messages. If it is in the same world, even if the void is unstable, it can still teleport a little distance. But the chaotic void, this distance is too long, any distance is equivalent to a mysterious ancient world. 3 hours later, the Daozu of Mingxia was seriously injured. In order to kill him, the master of the Dark Temple used many trump cards and powerful treasures, and the other masters of the Dark Temple were also very crazy. He knew why the Dark God Temple master wanted to kill him so madly. Once the headquarters of the Dark God Temple was exposed, the Zushan lineage would definitely kill him. Moreover, once the body of the world beast is exposed, it is not the Zushan lineage that will kill, but other forces will also kill. Under the siege of so many forces, there is no way for the Dark Temple to survive, unless the Dark Temple abandons the body of the beast. But once the corpse of the beast is abandoned, the people in the Dark Temple are not easy to hide, and it is easy to find it, and eventually they will be killed by the Zushan Daozu of the Zushan lineage. Therefore, once the news is exposed, the Dark Temple will surely perish. Master of the Dark God Palace, I will not reveal the location of your Dark God Palace, nor will I reveal the world beast, can you spare me? Mingsha Daozu said. You stop first, let's talk slowly. The Dark Temple Master responded. Stop. Mingsha Daozu is not stupid, he knows that once he stops, the Dark Temple Master will definitely trap him first, and then kill him at any cost. Definitely can't stop. He didn't stop, and the Dark God Temple Master didn't give up his pursuit, and was still attacking him with the strongest means. In this way, neither of the two sides trusts the other, and there is no way to communicate. It seems that this treasure must be used. Mingsha Daozu took out a wooden sword, revealing the color of flesh pain. This is a treasure he accidentally got from the forbidden area of darkness. At the beginning, there was a broken relic floating in the forbidden area of darkness, and he got this wooden sword from the inside. After a long period of research, he finally figured out the usefulness of this wooden sword. To put it simply, it can make the Daozu of Mingsha escape. Once the wooden sword is activated, it can be transformed into a sword light to tear apart all bands, easily break through the void, span long distances, and even cut through causal tracking and other techniques. Therefore, once the wooden sword is used, he has a 100% hope of escaping. But if the wooden sword is used, then he will also have no wooden sword, which is equivalent to losing a whole card. That's all. Use it. Mingsha Daozu urged the wooden sword. The next moment, the wooden sword turned into a sword light, wrapped around the Daozu of Mingsha, cut through the chaotic void, and disappeared in an instant. Whoa whoa whoa. The Dark God Temple Master and several other Dao ancestors stopped one after another. They could no longer track the Mingsha Dao ancestor, and even the several secret techniques cast on the Mingsha Dao ancestor could not be sensed. This shows that Mingsha Daozu has escaped and is in a very distant place. Damn, the Dark God Temple Master was extremely angry, and the violent aura made the other Taoist ancestors retreat. Everyone is very clear that the great disaster of the Dark Temple has come. Master, what should I do? A second-level Taoist ancestor asked. Ask the Glazed Tile Sect, can their Taoist ancestors come to the Glazed Tile Sect ahead of time to protect us? The Dark God Temple Master ordered. The other Taoist ancestors were silent. How could the Glazed Tile Sect force the Taoist ancestor to wake up? Moreover, the Taoist ancestors of the Glazed Tile Sect are all sleeping in the ancient world of Xuanxu. Once they wake up, I am afraid they will be suppressed by the rules of the ancient world of Xuanxu. Although they can forcibly rush out of the ancient world of Xuanxu, the price is too high, and at least they cannot return for a long time. Mysterious ancient world. However, this is the order of the Dark God Temple Master, and they naturally dare not disobey. Lizong, the true ancestor of Profound Handle, got news from the Dark Temple. The beast has been discovered. The incompetent Dark Temple. True ancestor Shuangong said coldly. He went to ask the Taoist ancestors who had awakened a ray of consciousness, and got a negative answer. Impossible to rescue. The true ancestor of Xuanzang has guessed the answer for a long time. At present, the Glazed Tile Sect has transferred all the boundary stones born in the world of the beasts to the Glazed Tile School. Although the beasts are still slowly giving birth to boundary stones, it will take a long time. If the beast is not discovered, they will naturally continue to support the Dark Temple. But now that the beasts have been discovered, they will not be foolish to protect the Dark Temple, and there is no way to protect them at present. Let those true ancestors guarding the Dark God realm come back. The true ancestor Profound Handle gave this order. This order also means that the Glazed Tile Sect has completely abandoned the Dark Temple. In general, the Glazed Tile Sect has not lost much, and to a certain extent still made a profit. The Glazed Tile Sect lost a supreme true ancestor, but harvested a lot of boundary stones, and this transaction was worth it. The other side, Mingsha Daozu escaped from birth, and also showed anger. He felt that he was wronged, and he just entered a forbidden area to search for evil spirits, but he was chased by the Dark Temple. Thinking of the wooden sword, Mingsha Daozu felt very heartache. Dark Temple, you made me lose the treasure, and I also made your Dark Temple despair. Dao Ancestor Mingsha immediately began to carry out a communication, telling the Dark Temple headquarters in the forbidden area of evil beasts and the matter of the beasts. Soon, the news spread one force after another. Virtual world. Zushin Daozu also got the news, knowing that the headquarters of the Dark God Temple is located in the forbidden area of the beast, and it is still inside a corpse of a world beast. World beast, I didn't expect the Dark Temple to be inside the world beast, no wonder I couldn't find any news about the headquarters of the Dark Temple, and I couldn't even deduce it. Zushin Daozu completely understood. At the same time, he was also very excited. Beast corpse, what a great value this is. It is rumored that the inner world of the beast can nurture geniuses. If you cultivate living beings in the inner world of the beast, you can definitely cultivate a large number of geniuses. Now, he also knows that the Dark Temple has never recruited geniuses, why so many strong people can still be born. Before, he thought it was the Dark Temple secretly arresting the genius. But now, he understands. No matter how you capture geniuses, you can't compare with the ones you cultivate yourself. After all, the loyalty of captured geniuses can't be guaranteed, and the geniuses you cultivate yourself can guarantee loyalty at 5.8. Owning a world beast, it is too simple to want a genius, so it is possible to expand the Dark Temple, and once became the top power after the 4 transcendental forces. Go to the forbidden area of evil beasts. Zushin Daozu led more than 200 Daozu to tear through the void and rushed to the forbidden place of evil beasts. Road Mountain. Daoshan Daoist heard about the corpse of the beast, and quickly left the customs. Xuanshu ancient world was born, and he did not appear, but the body of the beast attracted him. After all, he couldn't enter the ancient world of Xuanshu, and it was useless to go there, he could only look at it. But the corpses of the world beasts are different, and that is a visible opportunity. With the strength of his 5th level heavenly Dao ancestor, he feels that he is sure to compete for the corpses of the world beasts. Forbidden Palace. After hearing the corpse of the beast, the hall master of the forbidden hall couldn't help but go out, and led a group of Taoist ancestors toward the forbidden place of the beast. The other 2 transcendental forces, the Chaos Life Alliance and the Star-Horned Beast Clan, also sent a large number of Taoist ancestors to the forbidden area of the evil beast. All of a sudden, the 5 transcendental forces and many top great forces took action one after another, just for the corpses of the beasts. Chapter 1076 The Hatred of the Master of the Forbidden Palace. First update. Mysterious ancient world. Those who were in the 3rd layer of heaven knew about the corpses of the beasts and wanted to participate, but unfortunately the Taoist ancestors were asleep. If only their true ancestors dared to go out of the ancient world and snatch the corpses of the beasts with them, it would be purely courting death. As a last resort, the forces of the upper 3 layers of heaven have chosen to give up, but they are still paying attention to the big event of the corpse of the beast. Human territory. Yi Tian also knew about the corpse of the world beast, but unfortunately he knew that his strength was too weak, at most it was comparable to the 1st level heavenly Dao ancestor. But this time, the 1st level Dao ancestor was not at all strong in such an event, and he couldn't help much if he went. Let's just stay in the human race. Yi Tian muttered. Dark Temple. The true ancestors of the glazed tile sect evacuated, and the hall master of the Dark Temple did not block it, and he did not dare to block it. Because a large number of the true ancestors of their Dark Temple are still in the glazed tile school, if he stops these true ancestors, the true ancestors of the Dark Temple are in danger. Those true ancestors are the new hope for the rise of our Dark Temple. The Dark Temple Master murmured. At this time, the true ancestor advised, Palace Master, are we really not leaving? Leave? Where to go? The Dark God Temple Master smiled wryly. We can go to any place, the chaos is so big, there is always a place to stay. Said the true ancestor. It's useless. The Lord of the Dark God shook his head and said, at this time, I don't know how many Taoist ancestors who are proficient in calculation are calculating. Once we leave the world beast, I'm afraid it will be difficult to block their calculation. They will still be found by them, and only by mastering the world beast, only then can we hope to negotiate with them, and only then can we have a chance to survive. The value of the corpse of the beast is very high, and many forces want it. This time, not only the Zushin lineage will come, but the other 4 transcendental forces will definitely come, and even many top forces will also come. We can to get rid of the body of the beast, we only need a shelter. Once the other 4 transcendental forces shelter us, even the Zushin lineage will not be able to move us. This is the only way to survive. The Lord of the Dark Temple hopes. The other Taoist ancestors and the true ancestor did not continue to persuade them. Since the Dark God Hall Master made a decision, they could only follow it and dare not go against it. Otherwise, the enemy has not yet come, and the Dark God Temple Master will probably destroy them personally. Time passed by day, the Daoshan area was not small, and the forbidden area for evil beasts was relatively remote, so it would take some time for the major forces to rush over. However, some of the nearby top powers arrived first, but they did not enter the forbidden area of the beasts. Their strength is not enough, and they are afraid that the people of the Dark Temple will perish with them. Gradually, big forces appeared outside the forbidden area of evil beasts and surrounded the forbidden area of evil beasts. At this time, the Dark Temple completely ruined the hope of escaping. Finally, the first transcendental force came. It's the Taoist ancestor of the Forbidden Temple. The Taoist ancestor with the top power said in a low voice. Boom! Hundreds of Tao ancestors wearing black armor tore through the void, and their terrifying aura completely overwhelmed all the top forces present. Headed by the Forbidden Palace Hall Master, the legendary terrifying powerhouse who fought against the Lord of the Five Heavenly Tao Ancestor Tao Mountain with the top 4th level Heavenly Tao Ancestor, but did not fall behind. When the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace appeared, many Taoist ancestors were shocked. This guy is here too, isn't it incredible? Is the value of the corpse of a world beast really that great? Some Taoist ancestors and true ancestors who have little knowledge have asked themselves in their hearts. Go in, the Hall Master of the Forbidden Palace said in a domineering and majestic tone. Wow! Hundreds of Tao ancestors from the Forbidden Palace rushed into the Demon Beast Forbidden Land, while Tao ancestors from other top powers and some true ancestors hesitated but followed. So many strong men entered the forbidden area of the evil beast, and the changes caused by it were naturally great, and many evil beasts rushed over. But these evil beasts dared to block so many Taoist ancestors, it was almost dead, and they were killed in an instant, and even one evil beast that was comparable to the first-level Taoist ancestor was also killed by the master of the Forbidden Hall with a punch. After a while, many strong men came to the body of the beast. Sure enough, it's the corpse of a world beast. The palace master of the Forbidden Palace showed greed. Although he didn't know much about the world beast, he also knew how valuable the body of the world beast was. If he mastered the body of the world beast, he would have mastered countless geniuses. It's a pity that it's not alive. If you control a live world beast, the value is enough to increase tens of thousands of times. The palace master of the Forbidden Palace said regretfully. Dark God Hall Master, come out. The Hall Master of the Forbidden Palace said loudly. Wow! An incarnation of the Taoist ancestor appeared, and it was the incarnation of the Lord of the Dark God Temple. I have seen the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace, but I didn't expect you to come too. The Dark Temple Master was surprised. Dark God Hall Master, you can't keep this world beast corpse, leave it to me. The Forbidden Hall Master ordered. The Dark God Palace Master smiled wryly. The Forbidden Palace Master, I also know that I can't keep the body of the beast, but if we hand it over like this, our Dark God Palace will probably cease to exist. 1. What do you want? The Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace said unhappily. If it weren't for the corpse of the bad world beast, it would cause the inner world to invade the Dark Temple, the temple. Words. 2. The head of the Dark God Temple said. Our Dark God Temple has provoked the Zushan lineage, and the Zushan lineage will definitely not let us go. If the Zushan lineage announces that they will not kill us, then we will hand over the body of the beast. Well, I can protect your Dark Temple, and the Zushan lineage will definitely not dare to attack you. The Hall Master of the Forbidden Temple assured. When the Dark God Temple Master heard these words, he sneered in his heart. Are you kidding, kids? What is the use of such a guarantee? Once the body of the beast is really handed over, if the Dark God Temple Master does not protect it, they will still be unable to stop the attack of the Zushan lineage. The Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace, it is better to wait for the Zushan lineage to come. If the Zushan Palace Master of the Zushan lineage personally guarantees and makes an oath, then I will hand over the body of the beast. The Dark God Palace said. 153. Quote, the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace was extremely angry. When the Void Heaven lineage arrives, the Tao Mountain, the Chaos Life Alliance, and the Star-Horned Beast clan will definitely arrive. When the time comes, the 5 transcendental forces will gather here, and no matter how powerful their Forbidden Palace is, they will not be able to swallow the body of the beast alone. Forget it, you can't do it alone, you can only take advantage of it as much as possible. The Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace thought to himself. Time passed, and soon another transcendental force arrived, the Taoist ancestors of the Chaos Life Alliance, but only the first batch came. There are many Taoist ancestors of the Chaos Life Alliance. After all, it is a force united by a large number of Chaos Life races, and they are scattered and difficult to come together. The third transcendental force to come is Daoshan, and the master of Daoshan, Daoshan Daozu, is also here. Daoshan Daoju, Tianshan Daozu, Shenshan Daozu. The three major mountain masters of the Daoshan faction have all arrived, which can be described as a luxurious lineup. Daoshan Daozu, we haven't seen each other for a long time. The Hall Master of the Forbidden Palace said hello. The Lord of the Forbidden Palace, it's true that I haven't seen you for a long time. I thought you had entered the ranks of the 5th Heavenly Tao Ancestor, but looking at it now, you are still the 4th Heavenly Tao Ancestor. Daoshan Daozu looked like a little old man, stroking his beard and smiling at the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace. When the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace heard this, he was immediately furious. He also wanted to hit the 5th layer Heavenly Tao Ancestor level, but unfortunately this step was too difficult. In the entire Daoshan realm, Daoshan Daozu has entered this level alone. It is not that he is not talented enough, but that Daoshan Daozu was too insidious at the beginning. When preaching, he deliberately concealed some secrets, which led to the oldest group of Daozu. There are more or less flaws. The Hall Master of the Forbidden Palace was such a flawed Tao Ancestor at the beginning. If he hadn't had a great chance to make up for a lot of his shortcomings, he would still be lingering in the 1st Heavenly Tao Ancestor. The flaws have made up a lot, but there are still some flaws, which makes it difficult for him to hit the 5th Heavenly Tao Ancestor. Otherwise, with his talent for mastering the Dark Taboo power, there is even a great hope to hit the ranks of the strongest ancestors, and even the invincible Daozu realm is not hopeless for him. But because Daoshan Daozu deliberately harmed him, he has not yet broken through to the 5th Heavenly Daozu. Therefore, he hated Daoshan Daozu very much, and once even entered Daoshan. But Daoshan Daozu is a 5th layer Tian Daozu after all, and he is also the top 5th layer Tian Daozu. He can fight against Daoshan Daozu with the realm of the 4th layer Tian Daozu, but only falls into the disadvantage, which is already very against the sky. Damn Daoshan, if it weren't for the flaws of being a Daozu, I am afraid that my taboo body would have become a small one. With a small forbidden body, even if the cultivation level is only the 4th level Tian Daozu, I can still defeat the Daoshan Daozu. The Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace thought to himself. This time, the reason why he wanted the corpse of a world beast was not only to occupy the strange world within the world beast, but also to use the origin of the world beast to see if he could make up for his own shortcomings. If he can really make up for it, then he can easily break through to the ranks of the 5th Heavenly Tao Ancestor. Chapter 1077 Extreme Swordsmanship. 2nd, Daoshan Daozu teased the Taboo Hall Master, but in fact he was very jealous of the Taboo Hall Master, because he knew that the Taboo Hall Master had a taboo body and mastered the power of the Dark Taboo, which even he did not have power. Daoshan Daozu knew that the reason why he was able to become the first Daozu in the Daoshan realm was because he had obtained a relic floating from the Dark Forbidden area, and he rose to become the first Daozu. And he did not rely on his own strength to become a Taoist ancestor, but through a combination of Taoist treasures, so he is not really a perfect Taoist ancestor, but he is much better than other Taoist ancestors. He preached the entire realm, naturally not with a good heart, but wanted to cultivate some strong people through preaching, and collect some treasure resources for him to enter the Dark Forbidden Realm, also to dig the realm's treasures. After all, just relying on him alone cannot develop the entire realm. Moreover, even without his preaching, after a long time, Daoshan realm will slowly develop its own cultivation system. Therefore, if he preaches ahead of time, he will end up with a good reputation and can collect a lot of resources for himself. As it turns out, he was right. He collected a huge amount of resources, and many true ancestors entered the Dark Forbidden area, found a lot of treasures, and gave them to him to thank him for his preaching grace. Moreover, he also obtained countless precious secret treasures and rare objects by trading various secret techniques and promoting Taoist ancestors. But in the end, he still kept a hand, and the method of promoting Daozu for everyone is incomplete, and it is difficult to promote to a higher level. But he still underestimated the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace, and he was able to promote Tao Ancestor with the incomplete method, and made up for some shortcomings, and was promoted to the 4th Heavenly Tao Ancestor. He also wanted to destroy the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace, but it was too late. He can suppress the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace, but he cannot kill the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace. Fortunately, the Palace Master of the Forbidden Palace has not been able to break through to the 5th Heavenly Tao Ancestor, otherwise he would be in danger. When the Daoshan Taoist and the Forbidden Hall Master were confronted, the star-horned beasts also came. However, there are relatively few Taoist ancestors from the star-horned beast clan. There are only more than 50 Taoist ancestors, but almost all Taoist ancestors are above the second layer of heaven, and there are 6 Taoist ancestors from the fourth layer of heaven. The lineup is also very strong. The 4 transcendental forces have all arrived, but the master of the Dark God Temple is still unwilling to hand over the beast, and must wait for the arrival of the Zushan lineage. Everyone dared not make a move, and could only wait for the arrival of Zushan. Finally, another half-day passed, and the Taoist ancestor of the Zushan lineage arrived. Boom! 200 Taoist ancestors came together, which really shocked the audience. As the weakest transcendental force, the Zushan lineage has possessed hundreds of Taoist ancestors in a short period of time, which is truly the envy of countless people. Many true ancestors regretted why they did not join the Zushan lineage, otherwise they would have hope of being promoted to Taoist ancestors. However, the Taoist ancestors of the Zushan lineage are relatively weak. They are basically the first-level Taoist ancestors, and there are about 10 second-level Taoist ancestors, and they have just been promoted. There are no third-level Taoist ancestors, and there is a fourth-level Taoist ancestor, which is the Zushan Taoist ancestor. Such a lineup seems luxurious, but in fact it is far inferior to the other 4 detached forces. However, the other 4 transcendental forces did not dare to underestimate the Zushan lineage. Zushan Daozu didn't find it strange when he saw so many Tao ancestors coming to the forbidden land of evil beasts. When he came, he had expected it, so he brought so many Tao ancestors. But he still underestimated the desire of other forces for the beasts, and even the legendary Daoshan Daozu and the palace master of the Forbidden Palace came. "I have seen you Tao ancestors." Shu Tian Daozu greeted politely. The palace master of the Forbidden Palace quickly said, "Zushan Daozu, the Dark God Palace Master said that as long as you are willing to give up chasing and killing the Dark God Palace, they will let the corpses of the beasts out of the world. The meaning of our 4 transcendental forces is to let you give up the pursuit." Dark Temple, what is your opinion? Zushan Daozu frowned. "Master of the Forbidden Temple, you are asking too much, right? The Master of the Dark God intercepted me. Our Zushan lineage fell 3 Tao ancestors, and we also killed many Tao ancestors of the Dark God Temple. Both sides have already we have a vengeance, and it is a vengeance of life and death. If you let us give up chasing and kill the Dark Temple, we may not be able to do it." At this time, Daoshan Daozu opened his mouth and said, "Zushan Daozu, how about giving the old man a face? Let's forget this matter, otherwise you, the new 5th transcendental force, may not be able to stop our 4 transcendental forces." Seeing Daoshan Daozu threatening himself, Zushan Daozu did not hesitate at all. "Oh, Daoshan Daozu, are you threatening me? Yes, my strength is indeed far inferior to yours, but in the ancient world of Xuanshu, we have the strongest Daozu in the Zushan lineage, but you do not have the strongest Daozu. In other words, we the Zushan lineage has the ability to destroy your real country in the ancient world of Xuanshu. The ancient world of Xuanshu is currently our hope of breaking through to a higher level, where some treasures are always delivered and passed on. Your 4 transcendental forces can be destroyed. Lose my illusory lineage, but the true kingdom of emptiness can destroy your foundation." Zushan Daozu responded domineeringly. "Court death." Daoshan Daozu was angry. How dare a newly promoted 4th-level Taoist ancestor dare to threaten him? He is the top 5th-level heavenly Tao ancestor, and it takes no effort to kill a new 4th-level heavenly Tao ancestor like Zushan Tao ancestor. Immediately, Daoshan Daozu made his move. Steel Mountain. A mountain peak supporting a giant monument appeared, suppressing Shang Zushan Daozu. This is not a real mountain, but a manifestation of Taoism. Of course, this is not a middle thousand Tao technique. There is no middle thousand Tao technique in the Tao mountain realm. This is also a small thousand Tao technique, but Tao ancestor Daoshan has cultivated it to the realm of great achievement through long years, which is close to the level of perfection. There is no way, there is no Tao level natural talent, it is too difficult to cultivate a Tao technique to the perfect state, and there are not many great opportunities in the Daoshan realm, so there is no way for Daoshan Daozu to cultivate Beishan to perfection realm. Moreover, Daoshan Daozu practiced multiple Taoist techniques, and it was even more difficult to cultivate a single Taoist technique to a perfect state when distracted. But the monument mountain of Dacheng realm is enough to suppress a 4th-level heavenly Tao ancestor. Except for the 5th heavenly Tao ancestor and the hall master of the Forbidden Palace, the other 4th heavenly Tao ancestor could not stop his attack at all, and all of them would be severely injured. Shu Tian Tao ancestor. The Taoist ancestors of the Zushan lineage competed one after another, trying to block the blow for the Zushan Taoist ancestors. However, Zushin Daozu took the initiative to meet this technique. I saw Zushin Daozu holding a Taoist sword and made a sword-holding posture. Cut. A sword slashed out, and the sword light ripped apart everything and collided with the mountain of monuments. Then, something that shocked everyone happened. The sword light of Zushin Daozu actually blocked the mountain of tablet of Daoshin Taoist, and left a crack on the mountain of tablet. The power of this sword has reached the formidable power of the fifth heavenly Tao ancestor. Although it is only a first-time entry into the fifth heavenly Tao ancestor, it is very good. Impossible, you are only a new fourth heavenly Tao ancestor, and you don't have a forbidden body. How can you cut a sword comparable to a fifth heavenly Tao ancestor? Daoshin Taoist can't be trusted. In the Forbidden Palace, he recalled the swordsmanship contained in that feeling. Suddenly, the palace master of the Forbidden Palace remembered something and said, Shutian Tao ancestor, did you comprehend the supreme swordsmanship? Of course not, I just comprehended the superficiality of Xian swordsmanship. If I really comprehended Xianshan swordsmanship, the sword just now should be enough to seriously injure Daoshin Taoist. Shu Tian Daozu said with a smile. Many Taoist ancestors do not understand what the supreme swordsmanship is in the mouth of the hall master of the Forbidden Palace. However, the supreme kendo that the palace master of the Forbidden Palace said was definitely different from the kendo they understood. Seeing the doubts of many Taoist ancestors, the hall master of the Forbidden Temple explained, Shijang Kendo is a kendo road leading to the road of the most powerful Taoist. Some Taoists who specialize in kendo, once they understand the highest level of kendo, they can be in the seventh heaven. When the ancestors forcibly refined a trace of dark taboo power with kendo, so as to master the dark taboo power and embark on the road of the supreme Taoist ancestor. It can be said that mastering the path of the supreme kendo is equivalent to having a path to the supreme Taoist ancestor. Tickets, although not necessarily successful, are many times more likely to succeed than other Taoist ancestors. Rumor has it that Xian swordsmanship has reached the peak of creation, and it must be able to become the ultimate Taoist ancestor. That's it, thank you for sharing this secret, I really don't know. Zushin Daozu thanked him. He really didn't know that he was able to realize the rivalry of the supreme swordsmanship. Naturally he watched the sword marks cut out by the supreme master, and then comprehended a little bit of fur through the help of a treasure of understanding he had once obtained. He also broke through to the realm of the fourth heavenly Tao ancestor because he comprehended the slightest trace of Xian sword Tao. Good Li Jiao. When other Taoist ancestors heard about this secret, they were also moved, and they also wanted to try to go all the way to the strongest swordsmanship. Seeing the expressions of many Taoist ancestors, the palace master of the Forbidden Palace sneered. Just because you also want to go to the strongest swordsmanship? The palace master of the Forbidden Palace did not say a word. His foundation was flawed, and even if he possessed the strongest swordsmanship, he would not be able to break through to the supreme Taoist. Of course, it is not a problem to be able to break through to the realm of the fifth or sixth heavenly Tao ancestor. Zushin Daozu showed the fur of the strongest swordsmanship. Even if it was weaker than the real 5-layer Tian Daozu, it would not be too weak. Daoshin Daozu knows that he wants to kill Zushin Daozu. It is also a little hard. If he can't kill it, it is a real revenge, and his Daoshin's true ancestors in the ancient world of Xuanxu and countless true monarchs may be killed by Zutianzhengguo. Kill all columns. He didn't dare to gamble, so he didn't move on. Once the bet is lost, nothing can be gained, and the foundation is destroyed. That is the real regret. Moreover, he himself has no hatred with the Zushin lineage, so there is no need to make another move. Daoshin Daozu didn't take action, and Zushin Daozu just pretended that the scene just now didn't happen. There was no need to ask Daoshin Daozu for an explanation. It really angered Daoshin Daozu, and Zushin's lineage was not easy. Tell me, what should I do with the Dark Temple? The body of the beast must be taken down. Daoshin Road Master opened his mouth. Chapter 1078 The Work of the Black Wind Mountain. 3rd. Daoshin Daozu's words are also what many people want to say. The body of the beast is so precious, it must be taken. Moreover, the Dark Temple cannot be spared. Who knows how many good things the Dark Temple has obtained from the inner world of the beast? Only by destroying the Dark Temple can the treasures and resources of the Dark Temple be obtained. But now, how to deal with the Dark Temple? They are mainly afraid that if the Dark God Temple is in despair and destroys the Dark God realm, the value of the body of the beast will be reduced by tens of thousands of times again, and it can even be said that it is worthless. Just as many Tao ancestors were discussing, Shutian Daozu said, Everyone, the ruler of the Dark God Temple is the Dark God Temple Master. If anyone has the ability to destroy the Dark God Temple, it must be the Dark God Temple Master. The authority to control the formation of the Dark Temple is all transferred to others, so as long as the master of the Dark Temple is killed in an instant, the Dark World will not be destroyed. 1. I can't even kill the master of the Dark Temple in an instant, can you do it, Zushin Daozu? Daoshan Daoist sneered. Although he is the 5th level Heavenly Dao ancestor, and the Dark God Temple Master is only the 3rd level Heavenly Dao ancestor, it seems that the gap is very large, but the Dark God Temple Master must have something to save his life, and it is estimated that instant killing cannot be achieved. More importantly, the Dark God Temple Master is currently located in the Dark God Realm. They must enter the Dark God Realm before they can attack the Dark God Palace Master. Otherwise, attacking from the outside is equivalent to attacking the Dark God Realm. Zushin Daozu explained. I have a sword that can slash the soul, even if I can't kill the Dark God Temple Master, I can definitely damage his mind and cause him to fall into a state of confusion. In the realm of the gods, it should not be difficult to kill the Master of the Dark Temple in an instant. This time, we cannot use the body of the beast and all the benefits, just destroy the Dark Temple. Oh, you want the corpse of the beast? The Hall Master of the Forbidden Palace and the Daoshan Daoist were both very surprised. With the power of Zushin's lineage, he is currently qualified to participate and get a share of the pie. But the Zushin lineage does not want the corpse of the beast now. In fact, Zushin Daozu also wants the body of the beast, but he is also afraid that the 4 transcendental forces will join forces with the other side of the Zushin lineage. If there was no Zushin lineage, the Dark Temple would have surrendered long ago. Therefore, for the sake of safety, he does not want the body of the beast, but only needs to kill the Dark Temple. In this way, the 4 transcendental forces are very likely not to control the Zushin lineage. Soon, the 5 transcendental forces successfully negotiated and made a plan. Far away, the incarnation of the Lord of the Dark God did not hear what everyone was discussing, because everyone had been discussing through voice transmission. However, he felt something was wrong, as if the 4 transcendental forces did not intend to threaten Zushin's lineage. Could it be that they really dared to forcibly invade the Dark God realm? The Dark Temple Master secretly said. Right now. A sword light penetrated everything, as if it was like an empty sky, crossing the Dark God realm. Dark God realm, inside the main hall of Dark God Temple. The Dark God Temple Master was controlling the Great Formation, and suddenly a sword light descended like nothing and formless, directly piercing the depths of his heart. Boom! The heart of the Dark God Temple Master was severely damaged, and the whole person was instantly confused, and naturally there was no way to control the big formation. Immediately, the Hall Master of the Forbidden Palace and Daoshan Dao Master rushed into the Dark God realm inside the body of the beast. A Daoist ancestor followed, and after entering, he would kill anyone he saw. In front of the Dark Temple, several Dao ancestors of the Dark Temple tried to stop the Hall Master of the Forbidden Temple and the Dao Mountain Dao Master, but they were killed, and they did not hold on for a moment. They are too weak, far from being able to compare with existences like Daoshan Daozu, like ants. In an instant, the Palace Master of the Forbidden Temple and Daoshan Daozu killed in front of the Dark God Palace Master. I saw that Daoshan Daozu directly performed a magic trick, and immediately the 2 powerful men attacked with all their strength. Boom! The body of the Dark God Temple Master was directly smashed. Although it healed under the protection of life-saving objects, it was quickly crushed. After a breath, the Dark God Temple Master completely turned into nothingness. Until his death, the Dark God Temple Master had not recovered his senses, and was still in the process of being severely injured. It can be said that he died unconscious. As soon as the Master of the Dark Temple dies, the entire Dark Temple has no masters. Immediately, the 4 transcendental forces were all robbing the resources of the Dark Temple, while the Zushin lineage was chasing and killing the true ancestors, true monarchs, and heavenly monarchs of the Dark Temple. It can be said that the Zushin lineage will not let anyone in the Dark Temple let go. After a short while, almost all the creatures in the Dark God realm were killed, leaving only some innocent mortals. Afterwards, Zushin Daozu took the time to evacuate the Dark God realm with the Daozu under his command. As for the division of the Dark God realm, he is not going to participate, and how other forces compete has nothing to do with him. 10 days later, a piece of news came out that the 4 transcendental forces had found many rare treasures in the Dark God realm, and in order to compete for the authority of the Dark God realm, they launched a small-scale fight and lost several Taoist ancestors. But in the end, the 4 transcendental forces were still negotiated. Among them, Daoshan took 30% of the interests, the Forbidden Temple took 25% of the interests, the Chaos Life Alliance took 20% of the interests, the Star-Horned Beast once CJFI tribe took 20% of the interests, and the rest the interests were given to many top powers. In this way, the authority of the inner world of the corpse of the beast was divided. From the current point of view, the world beasts have brought them little benefits, but as time goes by, the world beasts are enough to cultivate a large number of talents and abundant rare resources for them. Human race. Yi Tian heard about the situation of the corpse of the beast, and felt a pity for the Zushan lineage, but also felt that Zushan Daozu had done a lot. If Zushan Daozu did not give up his interests, the four transcendental forces would not necessarily agree to attack the Dark Temple. Moreover, there are so many opportunities in the ancient world of Xuanxu, and there is not necessarily a lack of opportunities for the corpse of a world beast. However, he still underestimated the corpse of the beast. At this moment, the blood was on him. Wind King Small Realm. Yi Tian came in and saw General Zusha. Moreover, he also met other generals, almost all of them came here. Dozens of generals gathered together, what a big event. Hello, General Zusha, good generals. Yi Tian said hello. General Juji is polite. Many generals smiled slightly. Immediately, Yi Tian asked, General Blood Evil, what happened this time? General Zusha smiled and said, our job at High Function is coming. What kind of job? Yi Tian was curious. Robbery. An outspoken general laughed. Robber. Robber who? Yi Tian was very curious. Robbery of the Glazed Tile Sect. Said the General Zusha, you should have heard about the corpses of the world beasts. The living beasts are very valuable, but the dead ones are also very valuable. Among them, the most valuable treasure is the World Stone. But I obtained through a special channel that there are no boundary stones in the body of the beast. Through investigation, I learned that the Glazed Tile School took all the boundary stones from the Dark Temple in advance, so we have to snatch the boundary stones back. Jia Shi, what's the use of that thing? Yi Tian wondered. General Zusha explained. The boundary stone is a kind of stone formed by the escape and condensation of the origin after the death of the beast. It can be used to improve people's talents, and it can easily upgrade a talent to super god level. Some ordinary talents it is not difficult to upgrade to super god level, there are many substitutes. However, for many rare special talents, it is too difficult to upgrade to super god level, such as the most useful comprehension talent, how difficult it is to upgrade to super god level, but only one boundary stone can raise the comprehension talent to the super god level. Geniuses with super god level comprehension talent can almost become the top geniuses that are more enchanting. You can imagine, once you have a lot of boundary stones, what kind of genius cannot be cultivated? What, boundary stone can raise any talent to super god level? Yi Tian was surprised. His copying talent must also find someone with a super god level talent before it can be copied to a super god level talent, and there is no way to easily upgrade a talent to a super god level. To a certain extent, the boundary stone is more powerful than the copy talent. Of course, there are many abilities to copy talents, it is easy to copy other people's talents, and it is also possible to integrate talents, but boundary stone is far from being able to do this. But even so, the value of the boundary stone is also very high. It is no wonder that High Function was moved and wanted to rob the Glazed Tile School. General Juji, we must go to the Glazed Tile Sect immediately, otherwise other upper 3-level forces will immediately enter the Glazed Tile Sect when they hear the news, and we will not be able to gain an advantage by then. The Blood Evil General urged. I'm ready to go anytime. Yi Tian said. Chapter 1079 Enter the Glazed Tile School. 4th. Lizong. True Ancestor Profound Handle is still worried, he is afraid that the news of Jia Shi will be exposed. Although the people in the Dark Temple do not know the value of the boundary stone, they should not say that the boundary stone is in the Glazed Tile School, but it is difficult to guarantee that the upper 3 heaven forces do not know the value of the boundary stone. Once there is no boundary stone in the body of the beast, they will definitely investigate, and it is easy to investigate the body of the Glazed Tile Sect. The value of the boundary stone is so great that it is enough to make many upper 3 heavenly forces move, and thus take action against the Lu Lizong. But even if the Glazed Tile Sect was asked to choose again, they would still take away the boundary stone of the Dark Temple, and no force would be willing to give up such a treasure. Boom boom boom. The space where the Glazed Tile School was torn apart, and figures emerged one after another. These people are basically wearing battle armor and masks, and they suddenly appeared in the vicinity, and it is impossible to find their traces. True Ancestor. True Ancestor. All are true ancestors. Moreover, the breath of many true ancestors is extremely powerful, and they are extremely powerful true ancestors, and the number of top true ancestors is tens of thousands, or even more. Not to mention the elite true ancestors and the ordinary true ancestors, almost as many as 500,000. Ordinary forces can't send such a lineup at all. Go to the triple heaven power. The true ancestor profound handle sensed the breath of these true ancestors, his whole body trembled, and finally the thing he was worried about happened. Who are you? The true ancestor of profound handle turned into a giant face with the power of rules, which appeared above the mountain gate and questioned the true ancestors of Haifeng Mountain. The blood evil general said coldly, Black Wind Mountain. High-function robbery never concealed his identity, except for some special occasions, but a mere glazed tile school is not qualified to let high-function conceal his identity. What? Black Wind Mountain? True ancestor Xuanggong was shocked. High-function's reputation in the realm is not very good, and he is very courageous. But the key point is that many forces have no way to take Haifeng Mountain, and at most kill a few Haifeng Mountain peak masters and true ancestors. The true ancestor of profound handle knew very well that the glazed tile school was an ant compared to Haifeng Mountain. Even if the Taoist ancestors have not fully recovered, these true ancestors of Haifeng Mountain are enough to easily sweep the glazed tile school. I don't know why the true ancestors of Haifeng Mountain came to our glazed tile school. True ancestor Xuanggong pretended not to know and asked. Where's the boundary stone? Hand it over. The blood evil general said indifferently. What boundary stone? Your Excellency is really joking. What boundary stone does our glazed tile school have? The true ancestor of Xuanggong pretended not to know. It is impossible for him to hand over the boundary stone, otherwise, once the Taoist ancestors wake up, they will never spare him. The boundary stone is too important for the glazed tile school, and it is the hope for the rise of the glazed tile school. Don't pay, then destroy the sect, Bloody General threatened. Haifeng Mountain has never been a decent force. Unless it is a force related to the high-level people of Haifeng Mountain will not threaten or destroy it. However, there is no powerhouse in the glazed tile sect at the top of Haifeng Mountain, so Haifeng Mountain does not need to be concerned about the mystery of the glazed tile sect. Even if the glazed tile sect is destroyed, it will be fine. Everyone in Haifeng Mountain, our glazed tile sect is a 5-layered power. If we really attack our glazed tile sect, the Taoist ancestors of our glazed tile sect will wake up at all costs and forcibly kill you. You are really for an unwarranted boundary stone. Just fight to the death with our glazed tile sect. The true ancestor Xuanggong asked. Kill. General Zusha was unwilling to talk nonsense, nor was he willing to waste time. If other forces in the third heaven came, it would be troublesome. Although he used a secret treasure to block the fluctuations in the space of the glazed tile school before his arrival, even if he fought, it would be difficult for the outside world to know, but as time passed, he would definitely not be able to hide it. The other upper 3 heaven forces will definitely soon be able to find out that Jia Shi is in the glazed tile sect, and they will enter the glazed tile sect at all costs. At that time, Haifeng Mountain will have to confront the other forces in the upper 3rd heaven. No one of the upper 3rd level forces is weak, even if it is the 7th level and 8th level forces. The strength of the two sides is only that the strongest one is the 7th level Taoist ancestor, and the strongest one is the 8th level Taoist. But at the level of the true ancestor, some 7th level forces are stronger than 8th level forces. Besides, Haifeng Mountain also suffered heavy losses at the level of the true ancestor, and some true ancestors of the 3rd level forces are really stronger than Haifeng Mountain. Therefore, once encountering other true ancestors of the upper 3rd heaven forces, even if Haifeng Mountain can win, it will be an extremely heavy price. Speed up, quickly destroy the glazed tile school. The bloody general ordered. Boom! Hundreds of thousands of true ancestors of Haifeng Mountain shot in unison, and instantly tore apart the mountain gate formation of the glazed tile school, causing cracks in the mountain gate formation. Under the rounds of attacks, the glazed tile sect's mountain gate formation was soon completely shattered without the urging of the Taoist ancestors. Immediately, the fighting began. The true ancestors of the Dark Temple, you must also take action, otherwise, when the true ancestors of our glazed tile sect fall, you will not be able to live. The true ancestor of Xuanggong said. The true ancestors of the Dark Temple, headed by the true ancestor of Fire Cloud, all participated in the battle helplessly. Originally, when the Dark Temple was destroyed, they were already extremely sad. Coupled with the threat of Zutianzhengguo, they did not dare to leave the glazed tile sect. They thought that under the protection of the glazed tile sect, they would be very safe, and they could be completely transformed into the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect in the future. The future is also very good. Unexpectedly, it has only been so long, and it was almost not long after the news of the destruction of the temple, the glazed tile school was also in danger of being destroyed. Moreover, the other party turned out to destroy the glazed tile sect for what boundary stone? Boundary stone, isn't that an ordinary power stone? At the beginning, the Dark Temple gave all the boundary stones to the glazed tile sect. I thought it was not a good thing, but I didn't expect that such a thing would make the glazed tile sect provoke a great enemy, which shows the preciousness of the bounding stones. For flowers. But now it's too late, they are already tied to the glazed tile school and can't escape anymore. If they lose this battle, they will surely fall. Only by working together with the glazed tile sect to fight against Haifeng Mountain can they have a chance to survive. But in the face of dozens of supreme true ancestors and a large number of top true ancestors, they really don't see much hope. Kill. The true ancestors of the Dark Temple rushed up, like moths fighting a fire, fighting with the true ancestors of the Black Wind Mountain. Boom boom boom. Battles are spread throughout the space of the glazed tile school, and a large number of true ancestors have fallen every moment. The true ancestors of the Black Wind Mountain also fell, but the number is relatively small. Yi Tian also shot, almost with all his strength, a martial art was used, and he slaughtered all the true ancestors. Even if the top true ancestors were in his hands, he could kill them within 10 strokes. Soon, more than half of the true ancestors of the glazed tile school and the Dark Temple have fallen, but the number of true ancestors who have fallen in Haifeng Mountain is very small, almost negligible. Just then, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted from the glazed tile sect mountain gate. There is a Taoist who was forcibly resuscitating. Yi Tian was shocked. Moreover, the awakened Taoist is not an ordinary Taoist, he is definitely a powerful Taoist above the second-level Taoist. After all, the Blood Fiend General is the invincible true ancestor, and the combat power is comparable to the ordinary second-level heavenly ancestor. If only one second-level heavenly ancestor is resurrected, it will not help at all. It's a fourth-level Taoist ancestor. Everyone, be careful. The Bloody General said. What, the fourth heavenly Tao ancestor? General Blood Evil, can we handle it? Yi Tian asked through voice transmission. Don't worry, if the fourth-level Tao ancestor dares to forcibly revive at this time, it will definitely be suppressed by the rules of the Xuanxu ancient realm that can only exert the strength of the second-level Tao ancestor, and the state will continue to decline, eventually falling to the true ancestor level. Over time, even if it does not fall, it will cause a foundation that is difficult to recover. It seems that there are many boundary stones in the glazed tile school, so many that the glazed tile school is willing to sacrifice a fourth-level heavenly Tao ancestor. Bloody General explained. Yi Tian also nodded. If it wasn't for the great value, how could the glazed tile school be willing to sacrifice a fourth-level heavenly Tao ancestor? After all, the glazed tile sect itself is also a fifth-level heaven power. There are at most a few fifth-level heavenly ancestors, and the number of fourth-level heavenly ancestors is definitely not many, and it is estimated that there are only a dozen or so. Therefore, any fourth heavenly Tao ancestor is a top-notch existence to the fifth heavenly forces, and the high-level ones will not give up easily. For such a fourth-level heavenly Tao ancestor, losing one is a huge loss. You continue to kill the true ancestor of the glazed tile sect, and I will block this fourth heavenly Tao ancestor who is about to recover. General Zusha said in a voice transmission to the audience. Yes, the many true ancestors of the Black Wind Mountain responded one by one. Chapter 1080 The Demise of the Glazed Tile School. Fifth More. High Function, you deceive people too much. A roar was sent from inside the glazed tile sect mountain gate. Click, the void cracked open, and a pair of pale hands stretched out from the void crack, tearing the void crack open, forming a passage that could accommodate one person. Immediately, a figure with cracks and wounds came out. This person's injury is not easy, even after a long period of repair, he still cannot fully recover from the injury. But now, the rules of the ancient world of Xuanxu entered the knife, as if cutting his body layer by layer, causing more serious injuries to his body. Under the suppression of the rules of the ancient world of Xuanxu, the aura of this fourth-level Taoist ancestor continued to decline, and quickly dropped to the level of the second-level Taoist ancestor. At this time, his breath stabilized a little, but it couldn't last. After half an hour at the most, he could no longer maintain the combat power of the second-level heavenly Tao ancestor. It turned out to be Yuanfeng Daozu. General Zusha stepped out, stopped Yuanfeng Daozu who was about to rush over, and said. It turned out to be General Blood Evil. You actually survived the battle of the realm and the road to the Dark Forbidden Realm. You are lucky. I remember that you have 3 top generals in Haifeng Mountain, but now you are the only one in 357. What about the two generals, have they fallen? Yuanfeng Daozu sneered. You still worry about yourself, this time you forcibly recover, I am afraid you are courting death. The bloody general smiled, even if it is courting death, it will kill you. Yuanfeng Daozu shot. Boom, the two clashed instantly. At this time, Yi Tian really realized how terrifying the invincible true ancestor's combat power was, and he did not lose in the fight against Dao ancestor Yuanfeng. Every move was terrifying. Compared with General Zusha, Yi Tian felt that a supreme ancestor like himself would be beheaded if he couldn't keep up with a few moves. The gap between the two sides was too big. This is true peerless invincibility. Afterwards, Yi Tian did not pay attention to the battle between the Blood Demon General and Yuanfeng Daozu, and the two of them would not be able to tell the difference for a while. With the passage of time, more than 70% of the true ancestors of the Glazed Tile sect have fallen, and more than 80% of the true ancestors of the Dark Temple have fallen. The sky and the ground are full of the corpses of the true ancestors, blood of the true ancestors, and weapon fragments. The entire space was also smashed to pieces, and I am afraid that it will not be long before this space will be scrapped. Damn, Yuanfeng Daozu was extremely angry. The loss of the Glazed Tile sect made him feel distressed. If it continues like this, won't the Glazed Tile sect be finished? Once the true ancestors of the Glazed Tile sect have fallen, what is the significance of his forced recovery this time? Therefore, Yuanfeng Daozu tried his best. I saw Yuanfeng Daozu mobilized a secret treasure, forcibly blocking the suppression of the ancient world of Xuanxu for a moment, and in this moment, Yuanfeng Daozu burst out with a full-strength blow that was comparable to the triple heavenly Daozu. With this blow, he will kill the blood evil general. You want to kill me? Ha ha ha, my blood demon once killed a second-level Taoist ancestor, and today is beheading a fourth-level Taoist ancestor. On the side of the bloody general, holding a Taoist spear, the whole person seems to be transformed into an ancient long spear, and his will shakes the rules of the ancient world. At the same time, he exuded the meaning of the powerful spear, which could crush any rules and penetrate everything. The way of the Zeon spear, no, it's half of the way of the Zeon spear. Impossible, you are the real ancestor. Many Taoist ancestors have only realized the slightest fur of the Zeon road, and you can be called a monster. You are only the real ancestor, not only comprehend the fur, and also comprehend half of it on this road, and reach the half% Zeon gun road, this is impossible. Yuanfeng Daozu showed an unbelievable look and shouted. However, what responded to him was a shot from the blood evil general. This shot penetrated everything, and also penetrated the body of Yuanfeng Daozu. In an instant, Yuanfeng Daozu's injury was worth it, and the rules of the ancient world of Xuanxu were crushed down again, turning into a knife of rules and piercing his body. This is the end of forcibly shaking the rules of the ancient world of Xuanxu. The double damage came, and Yuanfeng Daozu's injury suddenly became so severe that he could only maintain the first-level heavenly Daozu. Die. General Zusha continued to stab the past several times, and hit Yuanfeng Daozu several times again. In this way, in less than a minute, Yuanfeng Daozu completely fell and died. Before he died, he also failed to inflict heavy damage on General Zusha. After killing Yuanfeng Daozu, General Zusha breathed a sigh of relief. This battle is not very dangerous, but he is also very clear that Yuanfeng Daozu is dragging a seriously injured body to fight him, and that he can only exert the power of the second-level Daozu when suppressed by the rules of the ancient world. And at the last moment, if he hadn't had to break out a blow comparable to the Triple Heaven Ancestor, forcibly against the rules of the ancient world of Xuanxu, he would not have fallen so fast. If he were to fight against the second-level Heavenly Dao Ancestor at his true peak, he would not necessarily be able to win. Yuanfeng Daozu fell and died, and the Glazed Tile School did not send Daozu out again. Obviously, they were terrified. Knowing that the Blood Evil General has the invincible True Ancestor's combat power, and also has mastered half of the Strong Spear, and then dispatching the 4th-level Tiandao Ancestor is also dead. Could it be possible that they also sent the 5 Heavenly Dao Ancestors? But even the 5th-level Heavenly Dao Ancestor is difficult to exert too strong combat power, and even if he can suppress the Blood Evil General, it is difficult to kill the Blood Evil General. And with the passage of time, the Blood Evil General can completely consume a 5th-level Heavenly Ancestor. The Glazed Tile sect has only a few 5th-layer Heavenly Dao Ancestors, and no one is willing to sacrifice himself. Therefore, the Taoist ancestors of the Glazed Tile School have not recovered, and they have given up keeping the Boundary Stone. Later, General Zusha joined the ranks of besieging the Glazed Tile School. In a short time, almost all the true ancestors of the glazed tile sect fell, and almost all the true ancestors of the Dark Temple were beheaded. Look for the boundary stone, the bloody general ordered. A large number of high-function true ancestors rushed into the glazed tile school, and while collecting the spoils, they also looked for the boundary stone. Several important places in the glazed tile school were breached by the generals of Haifeng Mountain, and they soon found the existence of the boundary stone in a mysterious space. At the same time, they vaguely sensed the sleeping place of the Taoist ancestors of the glazed tile sect, but they didn't bother, they didn't want to die. The boundary stone was found, and almost all the resources of the glazed tile school were collected. Immediately, the true ancestors of high-function cast the Black Wind domain technique one by one to leave the space that was about to be broken, and return to the small domain of the Wind King. Shortly after, one by one, the true ancestors of the third-level heavenly forces descended on the glazed tile school. When they saw the ruined glazed tile school, they immediately regretted it. It's too late, the glazed tile school was destroyed, and the boundary stone must have been taken away. To be able to destroy the glazed tile school in such a short period of time, it must be the work of the three-layered power. Which power? I sensed the breath of General Zusha, and the other party walked in a hurry and did not completely remove the breath. I guess it's not necessary to be clear. Anyway, we really need to investigate, and we can still find out. I just didn't expect that high-function would move so fast, and even entered the glazed tile school one step ahead of us and took the boundary stone. 1. HMPH, if it wasn't for the headquarters of Haifeng Mountain, we would definitely destroy it. Destroy Haifeng Mountain, you dare to talk about it here? I remember the Taoist ancestors said that Haifeng Mountain is at least an 8th level power, and you are only a 7th level power, and you dare to say that you will destroy high-function. Quote. The true ancestors of the upper 3-level power chatted for a while, and then left one by one. Obviously, they also gave up the boundary stone. Although it was a pity, there was nothing they could do. They couldn't find the headquarters of Haifeng Mountain, nor could they enter the small realm of Haifeng Mountain. So, they can only give up. Wind King Small Realm. A group of true ancestors returned here, and the next step was to reward them for meritorious deeds. The first is to share the countless true ancestors and sect resources of the glazed tile sect. If you share them carefully, each true ancestor can get a lot of resources. Finally, the main event, that is the boundary stone. This time, it was a collective mission in Haifeng Mountain. According to the rules, half of the boundary stones were confiscated and put into the Haifeng Mountain treasure house, which would be used to cultivate geniuses in Haifeng Mountain in the future. The other half is allocated to many generals, peak masters, and true ancestors. There are 3 million boundary stones, and 5.8 is the first time I have seen so many boundary stones. The bloody general was also shocked. In the realm, the boundary stones are all traded on a per-trade basis, and it is not easy even for the Taoist ancestors of the upper third-level forces to get a few boundary stones. He used to have only a few boundary stones, but now there are more than 3 million boundary stones here. More than 1.5 million boundary stones were put into storage, and the remaining boundary stones were taken out and distributed. Even if it is distributed per capita, everyone can be allocated several boundary stones. However, the general must have divided more boundary stones, the peak master second, and the other true ancestors the least. Of course, some true ancestors whose combat power is comparable to that of the peak master can also get a lot of boundary stones. After half a day, the allocation was finally confirmed. Yi Tian got 502 boundary stones, so many boundary stones are enough for him to cultivate many true geniuses. The other true ancestors also have no meaning for the number of boundary stones they have obtained, and they are all very satisfied. The distribution of the boundary stones is over, and each true ancestor leaves one by one. At the same time, the incident of the Black Wind Mountain plundering the boundary stone was also publicized by the forces of the upper 3 layers of heaven.